COVID?
No, I've got, I'm official. I'm clear.
Good afternoon, as it is just about, and welcome to the latest edition of Eyes Up Mother Brown. We are here today for West Ham United versus Manchester City, as the mighty Hammers look to extend their unbeaten run to 4 games, following victories against Wolves and Leicester. And of course, that draw that you probably might have missed last week against Spurs if you hadn't been paying attention. Fortunately, Manuel Lanzini was, and scored what was probably going to be West Ham's goal of the season, we reckon, to earn a pretty decent point down in North London. Joining me today, live on the stream, are our regulars, Rio and Gnome. Good afternoon, fellas. How are we doing?
Morning, all. Oh, afternoon. Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad.
Good. It is just the 3 of us today. We have given the likes of Pinky and DL and Bristol Hammer and Chalks the afternoon off. So you will be with just us 3 today as we take you through all the events arising from this afternoon's game in Stratford between the Hammers and Man City. Can West Ham extend their lead to 4 games? We'll find out very soon. But before we do that, we're going to begin as we usually do. And so while I'm adding some links to various places on the World Wide Web, Gnome is going to take us through the teams. Gnome, over to you, and as slow as you can, please, buddy.
Right, in goal we have Fabianski.
That's good. Can you repeat that?
That's Fabianski.
Good stuff.
Then Kufal, Balbuena, Ogbonna, Cresswell, Masuaku, Bowen, Souček, Rice, Fornals, and Antonio. And on the bench, we have Yarmolenko, Lanzini, Noble, a return for Haller, Diop, Fredericks, and the goalkeeper will be Randolph. Our opponents, Manchester City, line up as follows: Edison, Walker, Ruben Diaz, Garcia, Cancelo, Bernardo Silva, Rodri, Gundogan, Mahrez, Aguero, and Sterling. Excuse me. Their bench is as follows, if I can read it: Stones, Zinchenko, Stefan, De Bruyne, who's fit enough to return to the bench, Torres, Foden, who's been allowed out by the missus, and Palmer. Today's match official is Anthony Taylor. Have you done all your bits? Because I'm running out of things to say about the lineup.
I've just finished, as if by perfect timing. I've just posted out our final link. So thank you, Noam. Well done, and excellently timed, of course, there. So yes, welcome to everyone joining us on the live stream this afternoon. Good as always to have you joining us nice and early. Polaroid, metal in both legs, and Richard Van. Good to see you guys, and we hope you can stick with us for the rest of the afternoon. The teams are out. You've heard the teams. Gnome's taken you through the teams. Rio, let's have our first little look. What are we thinking about what we're seeing? No real surprises there, really, for West Ham, at least, anyway.
Yeah, not at all. I think the only biggest shock could possibly be the omission of Ben Rama from the bench. But as we saw with Jarrod Bowen, he did give him a couple of weeks kind of bedding into the squad. So, you know, it makes a little bit of sense. He's not used to our system. He's just come back from international break himself. Yeah, it makes sense, doesn't it? Bed him in easily.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we were kind of warned about that anyway, weren't we, yesterday? I think when David Moyes was talking in his press conference, asked about Ben Rama and the possibility of him being involved today, sort of indicated that, he's probably going to have to wait for his opportunity. So no real surprise there, I guess. But good news that Haller's back.
Very much so. I mean, it gives us that extra dimension up front on the bench there. I mean, we've got a wealth of attacking options, but having a recognised striker someone who, albeit in the cup competition this season, has had a little bit of form and a few goals. So I'd imagine he'd be chomping at the bit to get on. So if he does get on and takes his chance, all the better for us. We've got a wealth of attacking options, and he's just £45 million striker isn't going to do us any harm, is it?
Not at all. You wouldn't have thought so. What are you thinking about the central defensive area? You know, Balbuena, of course, had a bit of a rickety start at Tottenham last week. We saw him get beaten for pace a couple of times at Leicester during the game, but of course come back last week to score what was a very important first goal. Any concerns about seeing him still there, or do you think again that's good management from Moisey, in terms of keeping him there because he recovered and did so well last week?
Well, I think it's good management. He improved in the second half, and the whole team did. Yeah. And he admitted himself, as we suspected last week, that the return from international duty, he said himself he was on a flight until possibly 48 hours before the game. Yeah, which wasn't going to do him any kind of favours. So it's a bit understanding he was a little bit sluggish, and maybe he shouldn't have played last week, really. But after that rocky start, he came back. The goal was the icing on the cake. Yeah, I mean, he's been pretty good since he's been returned to the team. So I'm happy with it, to be honest.
Okay, good stuff. Welcomes also to hello, Steve Palmer, who's also joined us on the chat. For some reason, Steve, your message has been held for review. I'm not quite sure why. All it says is, I fear for this game. Can we be strong enough mentally? Not quite sure why YouTube have taken umbrage to that particular note, but you can see it now. I've just okayed it, so no problem. Thanks for joining us, Steve. Gnome, what are your thoughts on the team there? And of course, what about Man City? Any real surprises? We know that the main man, De Bruyne, is back on the bench after a few weeks out. Let's talk about City first. I mean, who do you see as the real strengths there and the real threats to West Ham this afternoon?
Well,
everyone, I think.
Yeah, I mean, where do you start? I mean, it's not a bad side, is it? Even with all the injuries, they've not been at their best this season. And bye, Rio. They've not been at their best this season. So,
Rio, for the record, Rio's just had to pop out for a minute. He's not leaving us for the very shortly. But sorry, back to you.
Yeah, they, as I say, they've been, I wouldn't say struggling this season, but Leicester caught them 5 times with the same trick, effectively, really, didn't they? I mean, it was either goals or penalties, and the penalties were won the same way as the goals were scored, by and large. I mean, that's a bit of a generalisation. And against Leeds, they sort of started off like like an express train, a real express train, Japanese one that actually runs on time rather than one of ours. And Leeds kind of had to weather the storm. In the end, Leeds deserved their point, but if Manchester City had been a little bit more clinical in the first 20 minutes or so. There again, you look at the game against Wolves that they won 3-1, and the first 20 minutes of the second half, Wolves had a string of very, very good chances. Yeah. So at the moment, they're not what they were. I'm glad De Bruyne isn't starting.
Yes. Yeah.
And I never wish injury on anyone, as you well know. But I'd be saying to Guardiola, "Are you sure he doesn't need another week, really, just to make sure?" But he's a class act, Pep. I'd rather he be fit for whoever it is you got next week, Yeah. But how Henderson got footballer of the year when when he shared a season with De Bruyne, well, says a lot about our the Football Writers Association, I think. But we're playing them at a good time, as I say. Not current form is not the greatest, and they've had a midweek game.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that actually. What I mean is that likely to have an impact? Do you think? I mean, they played Wednesday night. They've still had 72 hours to recuperate. Yeah, but do you think that's an issue?
Not as much as it would have been had they actually been playing in Porto. The extra sort of journey home. But it's still sort of an extra 72 hours where they've had to go and sort of peak for that 72, then warm down, then we've got to peak again. Whereas we've been building up slowly to this, if you like, all week. So it will be a slight impact, but as I say, probably wisest not to read too much into that. It's we may not win, but what I want to see us today is I want to see us give a good account of ourselves.
Yeah,
and we've rolled over in the past. It's fair to say, we get 1-0 down. It's all, God blimey, can we keep it down to single figures?
Yeah.
Damage and invitation from the 3rd or 4th minute. Well,
yeah, I was going to come to that actually. Rio's rejoined us, so I'll ask you about this. We were talking just before the game, weren't we, chaps, about our recent home record against Man City. Rio, you were looking at those stats, and as I'm sure you can tell everyone now, we haven't been doing particularly well at Stratford, have we, since we moved there against the Citizens?
No, the five league visits: 5-0 defeat, 4-0 defeat, 4-1 defeat, 4-0 defeat, 5-0 defeat. So the symmetry is pure but beautiful. We just repeated the pattern.
Yeah.
Surely it's our time, isn't it? As Terry Brown said, it was our turn. Surely.
Yeah, so I'm just looking at that, and that I make that 22 goals conceded and 1 scored.
Yeah.
Who scored our goal? Can we remember who scored? Wasn't it Ogbonna, was it? I think.
Do you know what? These games have left me so shell-shocked over the last 5 years that I've barely registered what's going on. Because normally I think we was 4-0 down when we actually pulled one back, didn't we? So
I honestly can't remember. I honestly can't remember.
I'll have to dig it up, but yeah.
Well, I can do that right now while we're chatting about that. But so I mean, we've sort of established that our record at home to Man City is not particularly strong. But what about? We've done all right lately, Rio. We've been playing well, as we said, unbeaten in 3 games. 3 games that last year we lost every single one. So to take 7 points from the same corresponding fixtures this year is a huge improvement. But is there a slight danger? It was Aaron Cresswell, by the way, who scored our only goal at home in the last 5 years. In April 2018, we were 2-0 down at the time, and he scored it in the 42nd minute. Went in at half-time 2-1, we lost that 4-1. Anyway, we digress. Is there a danger of overconfidence here from West Ham, given those recent 3 results? Or do you think Moyes is going to have them well drilled and ready to go again? Because we might have seen a little bit of that, at Tottenham last week in the opening 15 minutes, didn't we? We were just not at the races at all.
I put the Tottenham thing down to kind of the international break, really. We looked all at sea. Today's a different proposition. Obviously Tottenham's front pairing of Son and Kane obviously caused us a huge amount of problems. But we'd had a week off. The squad were all around various parts of the globe. We hadn't trained very well. Everyone, as you say, was off the races. But Moyes should have had them drilled this week, And like I said in the aftermath of last week, I think the first thing he would have done is made them sit and watch that first 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And point out, in no uncertain terms, what errors were made and how we're going to rectify them. Now, obviously today, the front line of City is possibly, for me, probably the best in the league, even taking away Liverpool's. We have to be really on our mettle. But, we've got to take great heart from the way that we came back last week. It wasn't just, as I say, a great result in terms of the club and the point, but it was a great result in terms of team spirit, buoyancy. It must have sent a huge surge of optimism throughout the club.
Yeah.
If we can keep the first 15, 20 minutes very tight, very compact, not fall into the trap that we did last week, we've got every cause for optimism, because as we just pointed out, they're not the greatest form. There's glaring vulnerabilities at the back of Man City.
Yeah.
So you can see this being a bit of a shootout at times, because we've got our problems at at the back, but we're also capable of a few goals.
Are you expecting goals today? Do you think we're in for another treat like last weekend, or is it more likely to be, as you say, both especially West Ham sort of sitting deep and trying to contain City for the opening 25-30 minutes, and then perhaps looking to play a little bit more expansive?
I think we'll try and sit deep and hit on the break, but now another thing we touched on last week is the amount of goals flying around the whole league.
Yes,
there's been some absolute freak results.
Yeah, it has.
And I can see another one today, really. I can see there being a lot of goals because neither team are particularly professional at defending at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Both teams are kind of absolutely flying going forward. So if that stays true to form, I'm expecting either a kind of a 3-2, 4-2 victory either way. I mean, despite City's deficiencies this season so far, you still got to fancy them to be favourites.
Yeah, of course.
But I think it's either going to be a 3-2 or 4-2 victory, probably at City, or a rip-roaring dull 0-0.
Hedging your bets there is what I like
I
to
think
see.
that's most bases covered then.
Yeah. Interestingly, of course, we must point out that if, and it's a big if, but if West Ham United can beat Manchester City this afternoon, we go third in the table. How about that? No, that'd be something else, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I wish I'd said that. To be honest, wasn't that the case around this time last year when we went?
When the wheels fell off, yeah.
Yeah, when Fabianski's groin went, we had a chance of going somewhere very, very high up the table.
I think you're right. Yeah,
we had Roberto in goal, and yeah, I'm going to ignore. I'm going to pretend that never happened. La la la. I didn't hear you.
Yeah. So but of course, there you go. So West Ham can potentially go third. Obviously, we are the first game of the day, so your chances of staying there are fairly slim, even if we were to win. But wouldn't that be something else, given the fixtures that we've started the season with, and the way that everyone felt it was going to go? Hellos to Hobo, to Rob Young, and to John Smith. Good to see you fellas on the stream. I hope you can stick with us for the rest of the afternoon. Let us know what you think of how things are going, of course, throughout the game, as you will be doing also on the KUMB.com match thread on the forum. And we're going to go there in just a minute, actually, Rio, I think, and just see what everyone's saying about the game. If anyone's, we seem fairly confident, I think. No, what are you thinking? Can you see West Ham pulling this off today?
There's a chance. I'm thinking that whatever the result, and I think all three results are on the table for once.
Yeah.
I think it will be a lot tougher for our opponents this week than it has been in recent years.
Okay.
And that's where we've got to measure things at the progress this season is when we come off that pitch today, win, lose or draw, Manchester City had to really sort of roll up their sleeves to get whatever it is, if they get anything out of this match, or has it been like in the past few seasons, we go 1-0 down and it's Manchester City
game over essentially.
We'll treat the rest of the training match to see how many goals they can get.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's possible. I think a draw is probably slightly more likely, and I don't think I would be too upset at that.
Yeah, would we take that, Rio? You agree with Gnome there? We'd take a point today if we could do that.
Absolutely. I mean, the start of the season we had, and someone put on a forum actually in the week that after the amount of games we had, after the first 7 games, after our start, if we'd had 7 points in then he would have been delighted. Here we are, 5 games in, we've reached that target already. Okay, we've got the 2 toughest probably games we can have all season coming up.
Yep.
But a point today would be absolutely delightful, and particularly in lieu of our home record against them of late.
Yeah. Okay. Good stuff. Of course, the game Rio referring to there, West Ham travel to Anfield next week for a trip to the current Premier League champions. Liverpool. And then, of course, thereafter it. You'd like to say it gets easier, but as we know, anyone who's been following West Ham for more than a few months will know that the fixtures on paper never really work out to to be that way on the field. We play Fulham at home after Liverpool. You'd hope, I think, fellas, that we could win that one. Surely, I think that's you've got to be looking for 3 points there, haven't you? And then we go to Sheffield United, who, of course, are playing equally badly at the moment. Can't buy a win at the moment. The Blades, unlike last year, so a real chance for 2 wins there. And then, of course, it's Aston Villa, who are absolutely flying. I think they dropped their first points last night, didn't they?
Yeah, lost 3-0 yesterday.
Turned over 3-0 by Leeds. Yeah,
got beaten by Leeds. So and then we play Man United and Leeds. So. Who knows how it's going to pan out. But anyway, it's good as Gnome said there. I think, as Rio said, we're surprised that, we've done so well really so far, given the opponents. Rio, let's take our first delve into the KUMB.com match thread and see what people are predicting for the afternoon ahead, if you will, sir.
Yep, certainly. Well, I went through the thread this morning, just kind of recap on things. And the early... in the wake of last week's draw against Tottenham, the early kind of feeling was that of optimism and positivity. Obviously, as realism sets in over the week, people get a sense of reality back and negativity kind of creeps in a little bit. But still, the overwhelming thing is that they're there for the taking a little bit,
Okay.
A winner of points not out of the question. There's 2 things that really stood out for me this morning. Chicken runs supreme. In view of the aggregate score between the 2 sides over the last 5 games at the Olympic Stadium, he said it's time to turn the tide. We've gone into every game at a new stadium already beaten. The fewest number of goals they've scored against us is 4. Enough is enough. They're a good team with great players. They're not firing all cylinders, and we really don't need to fear them. We can beat this mob with the right attitude. 2-0 to the Cockney boys. I wish I had his optimism. Paddy O'Hammer.
That, I think.
Paddy O'Hammer's put, can I just say this is the first match I'll actually be able to watch in a very long time. So place your bets that Man City will beat us by 2 goals. So, yeah, that's the kind of swings and roundabouts we're getting from the forum, Normally, we'd be 100% pessimism, 100% expecting a defeat. But there's cause of optimism here. There's a little bit of positivity creeping through. Long may it continue.
Unheard of on the KUMB match thread, but we'll take it anyway, and let's hope it's borne out by what we see in the next couple of hours. We are just about 5 minutes away from kickoff, and I'm still waiting for my stream to kick in. So hopefully that will come up.
Manchester City are just coming out now on the in the real world, Gro.
Okay, good stuff. Well, I may have to rely on you guys to keep us going for the first few minutes if things don't change very good. Oh no, I'm up. I've got it up. As I speak, up comes the stream. So
West Ham are just coming out now.
I'm just seeing them coming out of the tunnel, led out by Sterling, I think it is.
Yeah, well, West Ham are now coming out now. So
so it looks like you have the lead. Rio, how's your stream looking? Whereabouts are you?
We're just in the tunnel. What I would like to say is them glorious aerial shots look amazing, don't they? If only I knew what the actual bloody ground was like once you go inside it. It's not as good, but aerially it looks fantastic.
Of course, there's plenty of people getting a good view of the stadium today. We heard yesterday about how one of the local cinemas is showing the game live, and Gnome, that led us to this bizarre situation where supporters can, watch the game live inside a cinema, but can't enter the stadium to watch it from the terraces, which are, of course, outside and a little bit safer, you would assume. What are your thoughts on that one? Seems a bit odd, doesn't it?
What can you get in the cinema though? What, maybe 100 people in there? You've got to factor in the idea of 60,000 people travelling on the tubes and buses. I suppose is a slightly different thing.
Yeah,
we did just before the teams came out. They were doing their usual sort of panning the cameras around, and we were treated to the sight of Baroness Brady walking around the directors. Which was outside the director's seats there, without a mask on, which I'm not sure what the rules are anywhere now. If I'm going out the front door, I'll stick a mask on, just to so that people don't have to look at his face, really, I suppose. But yeah, but
well, I mean, she did make a point, didn't she, in her column, Gnome, a couple of weeks ago, about the people not wearing masks. So you would probably like to think that she would take her own advice there, and sort of be seen wearing one. I guess
maybe she doesn't have to in that position. I don't know, but I mean, I do know that when you're looking down at the bench, for example, the fourth official seems to have a mask on and things like that. So who knows what the rules are? I've probably been told I'm not allowed out, just that it's a conspiracy just to keep me indoors. But you're not all down the pub doing this, aren't you?
Well, regardless of the rules, let's hope everyone's keeping safe and looking after themselves up there at the ground today, whoever is there. Rio, what's your take on this situation? Because another thing, we also heard that even more bizarre, Millwall apparently are broadcasting the game from inside their stadium, their match today. So fans can actually enter the stadium, they can stay inside, but they can't go out onto the terraces to watch the game. What are your thoughts on this in this scenario?
Yeah, it's absolutely bizarre, isn't it? I think the Millwall one, there was a couple of non-league sides who've done it. They broadcast it on the TVs and the lounges and the boxes, but they've had to draw the curtains so you can't peep outside. Yeah. Which is
Middlesbrough last week did that as well, didn't they?
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy. You would have thought, if you can let 1,000 people into the stadium, socially distance them that way, what harm's it going to do? You get more people travelling to work, even now. You'll get more people travelling to work on the tube in more confined and compact spaces than you would getting 1,000 or 2,000 people.
We've kicked off by the
Olympic Stadium.
Yeah, we are underway. West Ham United versus Manchester City here in Stratford at the London Olympic Stadium. I was going to just say quickly, though, I could understand perhaps if they closed the curtains on the outside of the stadium at Middlesbrough, so you couldn't see, what was beyond you that side. But there you go. We are, of course, underway. I'm about 30 seconds behind you guys. So as per last week, if West Ham do score, you will probably see Rio and Gnome celebrate before me. So I might just jump up in mock celebration.
So you're still not kicked off yet.
We are underway. We're in the first minute. West Ham United versus Manchester City. West Ham looking to extend our unbeaten run to 4 games against the Citizens, who, as Gnome and Rio have already said, aren't playing perhaps to the best of their abilities so far. West Ham, of course, can go third with a win today. Pretty similar, as Gnome said, to last year when we went down to Bournemouth, I think, and Roberto was in goal. So that's the last I'm going to say about that. We're not going to mention that again. Hellos to Steve Palmer. Steve Palmer, speaking on YouTube chat, says, respect the point. I think we'd all take that, Steve. As we said, Paul Origi says a draw today would be more than we would have expected at the start of the season. This team is a different beast from last year. Hello also to Mark English, who says hello. Do we agree with that, Gnome? We're looking like a... Maybe I think Paul's probably referring to the start of last season rather than the end, because we finished the season reasonably well, didn't we? And we've kind of carried that form into this one.
Yeah, I'm kind of keeping one eye on both eyes on the game really at the moment, but which has started very quietly. City enjoying a lot of possession. Oh, there's a good turn from Sterling now. Just I say that Sterling running at the defence. He's fed the ball through. Aguero's kind of got a shot in, but it's been blocked for a corner. I was saying it was very sort of City, a lot of possession, but all in their half. Sterling's burst through there with a good 30-yard run. Aguero possibly marginally offside. His shot stroke cross blocked for a corner. The corner's been given anyway. And if you want to stay with me, Gundogan's taking it short. It's played across. They're missing about the outside the box. Cross comes in, or low cross comes in, but it's straight into the arms of Fabianski.
Okay,
I don't think City not on the same wave. The City forwards in the box not on the same wavelength as I think it's Gundogan.
Just talking about that sort of opportunity. I suppose the ball slipped through by Sterling there. I think I agree with you, Noam. I think if that had been reviewed, it might possibly have been given as offside, but of course they haven't done so, and Man City able to take the corner, which comes to nothing. A good challenge there, Rio, by Vladimir Kufal, to avert that potential cross there for a corner anyway. So good signs, I guess, from that perspective anyway.
Yeah, no, I mean, I like him. He offers a little bit of solidity. He's decent going forward. And against the pace of Sterling, Aguero, he needs to be on his mettle today. Yeah, but it's good signs that he didn't let him go. That's what we suffered with last week. Tottenham had too much space, too much time. We've got to keep on them now.
Well, the good news, I guess, gentlemen, is that we've already survived 3 times as long as we did last week. From Tottenham opening the scoring in the first minute, just coming up to 4 minutes played, and it's still West Ham United 0, Manchester City 0. West Ham, no, we haven't seen an awful lot of the ball yet, but it's a better start than last week. Anyway, we'll take this, I guess, so far.
It is. The one worry was that Sterling's run. It's probably our biggest weakness is players running at us, as City have got the ball on the right-hand side of the box, cross comes in, and that's a good header. That's good defensive header from Balbuena, and we're still struggling to clear it. Bowen's kicked it up in the air. They're camped on the edge of our box at the moment. Aguero plays a nice little ball inside, but first touch is not what it ought to be, and we clear it, but we're only clearing it to halfway line, which City beginning to turn the screw a little bit at the moment.
Yeah, Rio, we need to get our foot on the ball, don't we, here for 30 seconds or so, and just get a bit of possession.
Yeah, we need it once we clear it. We need to stick for a little bit. Just take our time, ease our way into the game. As much as you want to try and contain City, you can't do it for 90 minutes like that. We really need to be more kind of have an outlet up front where we can actually ride the pressure a little bit more.
Tactically, we're only a few minutes into the game already, but just sort of looking at it tactically so far, Gnome, what are you seeing from Man City? What sort of shape are they playing, do you think?
Well, sorry,
attack.
Yeah, basically, it's typical Manchester City. We're not actually holding the ball at all well. We've blocked a move into the box there, but it's been played out, and we've got it sort of about halfway between the penalty area and halfway line, and we give it away.
Yeah.
And Cancelo has brought it forward. It's just shot very high, very wide. But when we do clear that initial threat in the box and it comes out, we do need to hang on to it. We've got to get it further away anyway to start off with than 20, 30 yards outside our box.
Yeah, a bit disappointing. Declan Rice, I think, slightly guilty there of conceding possession and affording City that chance there. It's we're just over six minutes gone anyway. It's West Ham 0, Man City 0. But West Ham haven't got their foot on the ball yet. We did expect Rio, didn't we, to be sort of sitting back here and playing on the back foot and trying to hit them on the break. But of course, as Noam said there, you can't hit anyone on the break if you're just going to give the ball away straight away. How can we change this? Michail Antonio not involved at all so far. Does he perhaps need to drop a little bit deeper just to win possession, offer something to as an outlet perhaps?
I'm not sure it's Antonio needs to drop a little bit deeper. I mean, you need him up there really to try and keep the two defenders occupied, because if he drops back and they can push up a little bit further, then you've got basically 10 against 11 in our half.
Yep.
What we need to do, I think, is try and encourage Fornells and Bowen to get more involved, kind of bring them into a little bit, push them a little bit more central. Just try and link up the play, offer an outlet for the defence. At the moment, we're just hiking it up, and it's going to no one because Antonio's been nowhere near the ball in these first 7 or 8 minutes. Yeah,
it's all been very much Man City in control so far. But of course, as we always say on this stream, the most important stat is that one up on the top left-hand corner of the screen there. That states how many goals each team has scored, and at the moment it's 0-0. So the longer, of course, we said it before the game, the longer, of course, West Ham can keep City down, I guess the more frustrated they will become, and perhaps afford us opportunities to sort of exploit gaps in their rear guard, perhaps.
Just seen a slightly promising run from Bowen down the right-hand side, although he kind of he was shepherded well, and so we've won a throw in deep in City territory, level with the edge of the penalty area. Kufal's just looking for something to throw to at the moment. Not an awful lot of movement there. It's thrown it into the box, long throw into the box. But City have cleared. It's gone all the way back to Ogbonna now. And Ogbonna and Cresswell swapping passes. I think this is going to go back to Fabian. Oh no, Ogbonna launches it long. Out towards Masuaku, who keeps it in. But we lose possession again. So, we've got it back though. And Masuaku running it. Antonio's got into run into traffic, but has he been fouled there? No, he's gone down, and but no foul, and City clear it long from the keeper.
Okay, 9 minutes gone. West Ham United 0, Manchester City 0. Decent run there, Rio. We saw the first real attack from West Ham. Jarrod Bowen opening his legs a little bit down the right hand side. Didn't come to anything, but are we looking to Bowen to sort of really break City open this afternoon? Do you think he's got the ability to do it? No? Back to you quickly.
Sorry, guys. Bowen got into a promising position, pulled the ball back, but the cross was cut out. Some good work from Souček there, who pounced on looked at a loose ball, saw the space that Bowen had to run into, and his header was into that space. So promising signs there. Sorry, Rio, to interrupt, but it was
that's fine. Thanks, Gnome, for keeping us up to date. Rio, it actually fitted in quite well, actually, because we were just about asking you there about Bowen and his ability to open up defences.
Yeah, no, I think it's between Bowen and Fornells really were outlets today. Antonio's going to be kind of pretty occupied with trying to keep the ball and hold off the two central defenders. So he needs to be the one who, when he actually gets hold of it, try and introduce both Pablo and Jarrod into the game. Now, Jarrod's got a little bit of pace. We've seen a couple of runs there already. Hopefully he'll be the one to unlock it. But I mean, Fornells hasn't really been involved at the moment. I'd like to see him get his foot on the ball and try and eke out some chances and some space and possession.
Yeah, we was a little bit critical, wasn't we, of Pablo last week? A player, of course, that we all enjoy watching here. A player we feel is going to be instrumental in West Ham's season, but didn't really shine last week. Gnome down at Tottenham. So I guess we're looking for him to come out of the darkness, I suppose, a bit, and put on a performance today. We want to see a bit more from him.
Yeah, a little bit more. I mean, he didn't have a bad game as such.
No.
I mean, we gave him a little. Well, everybody gave him a bit of stick for missing that header, perhaps. But on the other hand, as I say, he suffered there from not being about 3 or 4 inches taller, which is hardly blame the lad for that. So, but this is not the sort of game at the moment where he can be really sort of imposing himself on the game. What he is doing, and what everybody is doing at the moment, is working their socks off to keep everything sort of tight. And so, I mean, we're watching City. It's gone backwards and forwards across that back line, maybe half a dozen times, because they can't find a way through, and that's because people are sort of, keeping their shape, Fornells included. We just had a possession stat there, which was 70-30 in Manchester City's favour. They've still got possession. They've had it for the last 3 or 4 minutes, I think, by the looks of things. But it's only now just come away from the halfway line. They've had a shot there, which I think it was Gundogan, where they do this to you. They sort of have a long spell, and it doesn't seem to get any further than the centre circle. Then all of a sudden, 2-3 passes later, you've got somebody on the right, our right-hand side of the box, their left-hand side, who's in a good position. But he kind of sliced it. It wasn't a good shot, and he sliced it 2 or 3 yards away. So we've got to be careful. We've got to keep that shape. And you can't turn off for a minute. And I think that was a foul on Antonio we've just seen there, but it's not given. He won the ball, but
okay.
There was a nudge there, but as I say,
Gundogan's effort there, I think, was the second shot from Man City following Canelo's shot in the 6th minute. So, but I guess, Rio, we'll jump into the forum again in a couple of minutes and just see.
I'll just say, Man City have just won a corner. There was a good ball that saw Aguero get the wrong side of Balbuena, who was but who had the header covered, so he put the ball out for a corner. But
okay, well let's stick with the corner for now. Then, Gnome, take us through that, if you will.
Taken short, played back, played down the line again. Cross finally comes in, but it's cleared. I think that's Souček, and it's Manchester City still have the ball. We've cleared the ball again for a corner, and that's Ruben Diaz it seemed to get in behind the defence. And just looking at the cross now, no, that's onside for me, and he took the ball down well, but see who's cleared that. Yeah, Kufal was aware and put the ball out for another corner, but there's a couple of times there, Aguero a couple of seconds ago and Ruben Diaz there, both timed the runs to get behind quite well. So that's where we got caught short last week.
Yeah.
So we do need to be careful of this. I'll stick with the corner, shall I, for a second?
If you will.
Yeah. If they ever take it. Looks like it's going into the box this time. Ball played into the box. And I think that was Ogbonna. It clears out, but it's back to Gundogan out left again, who overhits the cross by about 2 miles, and it's gone out the other side of the pitch for a throw into West Ham.
It is West Ham United nil, Manchester City nil. We're at the quarter of an hour mark gone. Man City, as you would probably expect, pretty much in control of the game so far, having enjoyed around 70% of possession so far. But of course, they've failed to break down what's been a pretty resolute West Ham United defence so far. And West Ham, of course, have not tested Man City's goal. But, Man City have been restricted to a couple of sort of half chances so far. So, Rio, I'd imagine Davy Moyes will be fairly pleased with what he's seen so far.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we're obviously not on, we're pretty much under the cosh. We're not offering much attacking, but we've defended reasonably well here. I mean, Kufal and Balbuena, they've done the basics right. Has been pretty much anonymous for me, which I presume is a good sign because... he's not been involved and not being mentioned a lot. He's obviously doing his job of keeping whoever quiet. But yeah, I mean, Balbuena and Kufal made some very good interceptions and clearances and tackles. So yeah, it's promising, Yeah, I'm just going to bear with me a minute, Gray. Just tapping my phone.
Okay.
It isn't 3-0 like last week. I think my phone's broke.
Yes, of course. As Rio rightly points out, by this stage last weekend, we were already 3-0 down. So small mercies and all that. We'll take it. Rio, we're going to.
We've just had a move where Aguero's run onto the ball from deep, and I think it's Souček that didn't pick up the run.
Yeah, it is Souček. Yeah.
And the ball's gone out. It's been given as a goal kick there, but. So that's what we really have to be careful of, those runs from the deep. If you've got someone coming from deep, you've got to go with him. You've got to be aware that he might make the run. Souček was basically ball watching, and Aguero sort of came from behind him. And
I think there's Souček's pointing to Ogbonna, isn't he, asking him to pick up to track the run, but obviously a lack of communication there, and we'll have to keep an eye on that. I think Aaron Cresswell just seemed to take a bit of a knock, didn't he, on that challenge there? So
good ball now. Bones in the box. He's overcooked it. Lovely interception from Rice. Ball played in behind there for. Let's have a look. That's Fornals has played the ball, curled the ball. Bowen ran into the box, pulled it back, and then tried to go the other way again. Get back. Looks like it's good. No, he's kept it in. Kufal, first time cross. And Antonio! Oh, you beauty!
I do believe West Ham have scored.
Oh, overhead kick from Antonio. Bowen, I think, kept a lost cause going there. Ball came back to Kufal, first time cross. And you beauty! I'm just waiting to see the replay of it again. Fine goal.
All right, we'll come back to that in just a second. Rio, West Ham United 1, Manchester City 0. What a lovely finish from Michail Antonio.
I still haven't seen it yet. I'm still behind.
Okay.
That's class.
I think he's just come up now.
Okay.
Just come up.
We'll just wait. We'll stick with Rio just to get his reaction. You've had mine. You've had Gnome's. Rio, what about that? What a finish! Another goal for Mikhail.
That is quite exquisite, isn't it? Now, it's a great little ball in, but it's just a little deft flick over the back of his head. That's quality, Mikhail. Absolute quality.
Absolute quality, class. Fair play. I gave Bowen the credit. It was actually it was Souček who ball seemed to go out for a goal kick, ran the corner, kept it live, played it back to Kufal, who put in the first time cross. That's class. Wow.
Are we? Well, I mean, let's be honest, gentlemen. We said we felt we were in this game, but it's taken 18 minutes not just for West Ham to score, but for West Ham to conjure a shot at goal. But if we're going to score every time we do, a bit like Tottenham last week. Tottenham scored in their first 3 shots, didn't they?
Yeah, 100% conversion record. So
yes.
Yeah, I mean, say Rice is intercepted here now. We're on the break again. Ball played downside to Antonio, who's out the right-hand side of the box. Back to Rice, plays first-time cross in. Cleared away by Walker. We've got Masuaku. Back to Crystal again, first-time cross in. Well, we've kept the ball in. No, I think, he's going to give the free kick for that. Which is fair enough.
Good stuff. Well, the bubbles are flying in Stratford. As we can see, the bubble machine is already in operation after just 18 minutes. We are 20 minutes into the game now, but West Ham United lead Manchester City against the odds again. Rio, is this going to be another big surprise?
I don't think my heart can take this.
Don't talk to me about heart.
Yeah, sorry, mate. Yeah.
What a start.
If we pull this one off, I just think I might as well just give up now, because this is unheard of, isn't it? It's also ruined I was just about to do a roundup from the forum, and it's completely thrown me off track there. So
yeah, I suppose you're going to be met with them. And just looking down at the YouTube chat, we've got a load of posts. Steve Page says, "Get in there." Richard Van, yes, what a goal, he says. Kieran James Devaney says, "Go you, good thing." Mark English says, "Great cross, Kufal." Rio, another assist for Kufal there.
Yeah, it was a lovely cross. I mean, it's actually in the right area. And you would have thought Antonio would have just taken it down and try and bring somebody into play from midfield.
Yeah.
No, little flick over.
No. I've just seen a laughable decision. Manchester City, ball down on the right-hand side, and so they're showing a replay of the goal now, but ball went down the right-hand side, and quite what the free kick is supposed to be for. They've given a free kick because I think the guy played the ball against Masuaku, and Masuaku blocked the ball, didn't get out of the way, and for some reason that's a free kick. That I mean, I haven't showed it again because I've shown the goal.
Yeah. Well, I've just seen it. I can tell you, I've just seen it, and I agree with you 100%. It's a ludicrous decision. The ball, as you rightly say, it's just played against Masuaku, and
dangerous position though.
Free kick given. But take us through the free kick anyway. We'll come back to Rio's roundup in just a second.
Curled in, header blocked away, and we clear. We've brought everybody back, so there's nobody to chase the ball. So Manchester City have the ball, played long from the halfway line, but blocked again. West Ham bring the ball away. I'm sorry, what a shout man on there, but Souček got rid of the ball before he was caught up with. You sometimes wonder about what did anybody see in that?
Yeah.
Good turn there by Souček, plays the ball out wide to Kufal, who's looking for Bowen, but Bowen didn't really have any space, so it's gone back.
Okay.
Yeah, carry on. Yeah, as I say, not much happening now.
Okay, we'll come back. Interject, just jump in, mate. For those who are joining us a little bit late, Gnome is ahead of all of us on the stream today by some 20 or 30 seconds or so. So he's keeping us abreast of what's happening live. We're a little bit behind. Rio, time for a roundup from the KUMB.com forum match thread.
Yeah, just before we actually scored, I was just going to point out that people have been very much in agreement with us, which means either we talk sense, which is highly unlikely, or the whole forum's just completely deluded. Yeah, Rowley was put in, it'd be nice to stop giving the ball away so cheaply. Billy Dino put, Antonio's looking sluggish. Parker's here. If we are to get anything out of this game, we need to be better with the ball when we manage it. Punk Rocker put, interestingly, it's interesting that Mank is ref in this game, and
Yeah,
someone else put Antonio clearly fouled twice and nothing given.
Yeah.
But in the aftermath of the goal, as per usual, a lot of yes, a lot of get in. Bonzo Beardpool, absolutely brilliant. Poor keeping though, I think. Millhammer, Antonio, also signed a whole goddamn Czech squad. I love them guys. And it's. I think people in a little bit of disbelief. Everyone's commenting on how well Antonio finished, but the parts the Czechs played in that actual build-up as well is there's a lot of credit got to go to them.
They've done it again, haven't they? The two new boys, Kufal and Souček. Souček keeping the ball in, as Gnome pointed out, keeping it from going out for a goal kick and then laying the ball back.
Oh, Antonio's bursting in the box. It's Antonio. Oh, he's been fouled, surely.
Is it a penalty, Gnome? Have we got a penalty?
He's not given it. He's not given
Not
it.
given.
Well, he's not complaining. At first sight, that looked, but he ran into the box. What are you thinking? He might have got a slight touch on the ball. It didn't look a tidy challenge, though.
Okay.
Manchester City now coming back on the attack. Right.
Lots of balls.
What happened there? It was Cancelo played the ball across. I'm not sure he was coming at the far post. It went all the way across the goal. Just watch it again now. Cancelo's done us there. He's done Kufal, but he's played it all the way across the goal. But the player coming at the far post, all he could do was actually divert it back across goal into the waiting hands of Fabianski.
Why?
So,
no,
yeah.
No. Talk to me. Why did he not shoot there from that position?
Well, Antonio.
No. The subsequent.
Cancelo.
Yeah. Left foot,
cares?
maybe. I totally agree. But sure, I mean, what a position he's in. 8 yards away from goal. The goal at his mercy, and he's chose to play a ball across the. Well, let's have a look.
Unless it was a shot and not a very good one.
Maybe. I guess if you're a left-footed player, it's a difficult angle. But let's go back quickly to the Antonio chance, Rio. I didn't see any touch on the ball. The angle from the TV camera wasn't particularly great, but I think from the angle we saw, there didn't seem to be any connection on the ball. Did you think there was, perhaps?
I think he did get the ball. I think it was a very good tackle, to be honest.
Okay.
But again, it's promising how he's got in behind there, and as someone's put on the forum, we're getting a lot of joy down there right inside. Yeah. So, long may it continue. I mean, everyone was absolutely kind of petrified at the start. We were sitting too deep. We're very wasteful in possession. Was under the cosh constantly. Maybe he was right after all.
Cancelo's seeing a lot of the ball out on our right-hand side. He's just got another cross in, just a bit long for Aguero, thankfully. But you need to keep an eye on him because he had that cross a moment ago. He's just put another cross in. Like to see us try to do a little bit more to stop that from happening.
Yeah, that one coming to nothing, sort of swept just behind the goal. Cancelo looking absolutely distraught on the TV there that Aguero didn't manage to get anywhere close to it, but it wasn't the greatest of crosses. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely looks at the moment, doesn't it, chaps, as if both teams are trying to exploit, this right-hand side of the field. But fortunately, so far, Man City have had no joy whatsoever, and West Ham have with that only goal of the game. We are just over 27 minutes played. It's West Ham United 1, Manchester City 0. West Ham scoring with our only attempt at goal so far, I believe. I don't think we've had any more. An absolutely wonderful, an exquisite finish from Michail Antonio on 18 minutes with an overhead kick converting Vladimir Kufal's cross. His second assist in 2 weeks following his assist for the own goal at Tottenham last week. Michail Antonio scoring his third goal of the season so far. Scored also, before at Arsenal and against Leicester in that 3-0 win. No, this is playing out very similarly to the way Leicester's win came about at Man City, I think. I mean, they played a very, very similar system, sat very deep the way we are today. And of course, I'm sure we're not expecting to get 5 today, but not dissimilar in the way the game's gone so far.
Yeah, sorry, just there as Cancelo's got another cross in. Masuaku's cleared it. It's the edge of the box, but Rice has come away with the ball, and he's been pulled back. Play on, referees race play on. Antonio's made a right hash of the ball to him, but I think when this ball finally goes dead, there might be a yellow card there because Rice was pulled back as he brought the ball away there. It's a shame Antonio couldn't take it in his stride. We were in a promising position, but now it's back to City on the attack again.
Okay. Keepers, but yeah, just quickly, similarities between the way we're playing today and the way Leicester played at Man City when they secured that very impressive 5-2 win.
Yeah. Leicester, of course, have got the pace of Vardy to aim for and get those balls in behind. And Manchester City made the mistake of leaving Vardy one-on-one with a defender. Ball has gone out now, and that should be a yellow card. But and I think the TV people know this because they're focusing now on the referee who's decided that wasn't a yellow card, which basically it's wrong. It's an error. Another one.
You're referring to the pull on Rice. So
yes, yeah,
okay.
That's a yellow card all day long, and it's all very well playing the advantage. But then when the ball goes out, you're supposed to produce the yellow card. He's clearly forgotten. Shot comes in from our left-hand side. It's gone over, and they're just sort of showing now. He's been pulled back. He's been pulled back by the shirt twice.
Yeah,
and there's
definitely
no action taken on that.
No question.
And he can't even say he didn't see it. It was right in front of him. So why not referee?
Excuse. No excuses whatsoever there, really. But anyway, we are a third of the way through the game. It's West Ham United 1, Manchester City 0. And as Rob Young has rightly pointed out, if you look at the live league table right now, West Ham sitting pretty. What did I say? We're not going there. Shh. Stop talking, man. Don't look at the live league table. Wait for another hour and see what happens. Rio, we were looking at the match thread on the KUMB Forum. Everyone delirious and sheer delight at the way the game's going so far. Everyone's still very reasonably happy?
Yeah, definitely. There's one thing I was going to mention previously. Prior to the goal, Wolf359 has put, I fully understand why we have to set up like this, but I hate starting a game with the attitude that we're playing for snookers at 0-0. And that kind of summed up the way everyone was thinking, we're just sitting too deep. It's very compact, but you're inviting trouble. But obviously, in the aftermath, everyone's gone delirious. EXEC has put, Lanzini, I think I might have got a goal of the season. Antonio, hold my beer.
Yeah, two contenders in 2 consecutive weeks. Definitely two great goals. I mean, personally, I think it's going to be very difficult to see anyone dislodge Lanzini from that position, given the magnitude and the importance of that goal last week, as well as the quality of the finish. But you never know. There's a long way to go. No, over to you.
Arthur's just picked somebody's pocket there out in the wing. And that's an interesting ball. If Bone can Bone couldn't quite get onto it and almost threw ball played there, but Arthur refused to be bamboozled out on the left there and stood his ground and won a ball. He's playing quite well, I think, Masuaku. He's doing some good defensive work and as well as his usual sort of stuff going forward.
We are as a team working incredibly hard, aren't we, so far? And sort of looking, from back to front, really closing down any opportunities.
From Ogbonna as well. The cross came in from after side. And Cressel's just managed to play the ball off. He's just gone for a goal kick. So time for a bit of a breather there. But
good stuff. Well, good stuff. It remains West Ham United 1, Manchester City 0. Gnome, as we say, nearly 33 minutes gone. The Hammers looking really, really strong so far. Everyone's happy. Everyone's pleased with the way it's going. West Ham, of course, looking to extend the club's unbeaten run to 4 games following wins against Wolves and Leicester in the point at Tottenham last weekend. And this is an absolutely perfect start so far. Everyone will be very happy. No complaints whatsoever. The team working. As Mark English has pointed out rightly on the YouTube chat, he says it's phenomenal work rate so far from West Ham, and it certainly has been. You know, when we're without the ball, just you can see Antonio dropping into a line of three there with Fornals and Bowen as well to protect the front, and then sort of Souček and Rice sitting in between them and the back five. Very, very well drilled this week. Clearly looking to get a response from the team to last weekend's desperately poor start at Tottenham. But it certainly has been the complete opposite to that so far. West Ham looking very, very good so far. Really well drilled, as I say. Picked the goal with our only shot on target so far today, and the perfect performance so far, you'd have to say. Welcome to everybody who's joining us on live chat.
Had a shot, Gray.
Go on, Gnome.
Garcia had a shot from distance along the ground. Wasn't that wide, but it wasn't the hardest of shots. And Fabianski had the goal covered, and it was one of those ones where he had the goal covered and took his hand away just to make sure he didn't give away a corner. We're going down our left now, and cross comes in, and Antonio just doesn't quite get the end of it, but I think we'll get a corner out of that.
Okay, good stuff. Which would be our first corner of the game, of course. So we'll stick with you, Gnome, for that, just to see what happens.
Yep. So we've got Cresswell on the ball, ready to take the corner now. He's looking very sort of bored with it. I think waiting for everybody to come up who's going to come up. He's now teeing it up. So it's interesting. We've got Antonio in the 6-yard box. Everybody else is out on the edge of the penalty area. And there's like the gap in between is full of Man City players. Oh, we've moved in a little bit now. So Cresswell takes the corner and it's cleared out. We've got now Bowen on the ball. Bowen plays the ball in, getting headed out. Aguero's cleared. We need to be a bit careful here. And that's well played there by Bowen, because it was an awkwardly bouncing ball. He got enough of his head on it to put it out for a throw-in as City were on the break. So, back as you were. City again now, playing it across the back. Bit of space there, though, to run into. Ball wide out on the right. Arthur acting as sentinel out there. And Arthur's done him again. Superb sub. Not being bamboozled at all. And we're playing the ball out nicely. As soon as I say that, Antonio plays it into touch.
The kiss of death, the commentator's kiss of death.
Yeah, good work from Masuaku there, because I'm not sure who is out on the right. Mara is out on the playing wide right there.
We've seen that a couple of times, haven't we, from Arthur already? He's a couple of decent touches.
Mahrez is sort of giving him the eyes and doing the shimmies and everything. And then he goes to try and play it past Arthur, and Arthur just stands his ground and nicks the ball off him.
Yeah, good stuff.
Now bringing the ball away. But it's gone back now. So we need to be sensible. Just don't do anything silly. Just keep playing this and keep it tight and work.
Let's just under 9 minutes left until half.
Masuaku on the ball. He's running at defence, plays it back out wide to Antonio. He's looking for some help. Cross coming in from Cresswell, gets a deflection, and it's keeper keeps the ball in from going for a corner. So back to you guys.
Good stuff. As I was just saying, just over 8 minutes to go now till half-time. West Ham lead Manchester City by 1-0. The only goal of the half so far coming from Michail Antonio with a fantastic overhead kick from a Vladimir Kufal cross. Rio, we've got to be very, very pleased, haven't we, with the way things are going so far? No complaints whatsoever, really?
Absolutely static at the moment. As you said, we're keeping our shape defensively marvellously well. When we do hit, in the earlier stages of the game, it was very largely ineffective and with no real purpose. Didn't get a foot on the ball. We're slowly working our way into the game as an attacking force now, and we're looking quite sharp and quite threatening.
Yeah.
I'd say we probably had kind of the lion's share of the attacking possession at the moment, which against the Manchester City side is very unheard of. I'm just really shocked that they haven't really gone at our left-hand side as much as they had done. You would have thought that we know Arthur's not the greatest defensively. We know Aaron on the left-hand side of that defence isn't the quickest. You would have thought with the likes of Mahrez and Sterling, they'd try and exploit that, but it's only been the last 2 or 3 minutes that they've really tried to come at us down that side, and I'm a bit shocked at that, really.
Yeah, I think everything has come down our right-hand side, isn't it? Really through Cancello, as Gnome has pointed out 2 or 3 times. Cancello's been really the sort of the pinnacle of their attack and putting
He's on the
2 or
ball
3
now,
crosses.
running at the fence. He's got the cross in, but again, Fabianski's equal to it. I'd like to see Kufal stopping 1 or 2 more of those crosses. Cancello's getting a lot of change down that left-hand side, or their left-hand side. But wasn't the greatest of crosses, and Fabianski just straight into his hands, really.
Okay.
Masuasku's doing well defensively, which is not, as I say, his normal best part of his game, shall we say.
Yeah, and also I think it's very disciplined performance so far from Masuaku. We haven't seen him burst forward, one of those long hopeful runs, sort of leaving space behind him. He's sitting in quite deep. So obviously, they've been drilled to do that today.
Yeah, as Antonio's been penalised there for nothing much really, but great tackle again in the middle there. Who that's Arthur again, who's done a tackle in the middle and complained about the afters from the Man City player. Kufal's just been shoved off the ball, so we've got a free kick in a promising position, about halfway in between the halfway line and the City goal, fairly central. Sterling's just sort of ran into Kufal and judged the ball slightly better, but the little touch on Kufal was enough to get the free kick.
Okay, well, let's stick with you for the moment, Gnome, while that free kick comes in. And
bit of a debate between Cresswell and the referee about something or other, but still waiting for it to be set up. Cresswell's played a ball along the ground, along the right-hand side of the penalty area, looking for the run that nobody else actually made. So it just went straight through, and Edison just was able to come and collect. Wasted free kick there, complete waste. One of those ones that looks good if everyone's on the same wavelength. Nobody was.
Not on this occasion. Slightly dubious free kick as well. I think I'm not sure there was much in that, to be fair. But we are inside. We're not approaching. We're in the final 5 minutes of regulation time at the end of the first half here. West Ham United lead Manchester City by 1-0. That goal from Michail Antonio after 18 minutes. Rio, we were just saying there that we were very happy with the way things are going so far. No complaints whatsoever. What's the view on the KU? Well, actually, before we get everyone else's view, let's have a quick look at the match stats. West Ham 31% possession. Man City 69. West Ham 2 shots so far to Man City's 4, 1 shot each on target. Man City with 3 corners to West Ham's 1. West Ham having committed 6 fouls. Manchester City 1. Rio, the match thread on the KUMB Forum.
Yeah, everyone's pretty much in agreement with us. The comments in a negative attitude have been towards the refereeing. Punk Rock Hammer put the snide fouls Man City make when you have the temerity to attack them, really need clamping down on.
We've got another free kick now. Fornals appeared to have been fouled. Didn't see the end of it. Cresswell played it into Antonio. Sequer got cleared there, but Manchester just got goal side of him. And that was silly. Ball was cleared out. We had a chance to actually just put our foot in it and bring the ball back, but we tried to play a first-time ball. It just went out for a throw-in, but. The Cresswell free kick, similar one to the one where he just played it along down the line. He did it this time, and Antonio did do the run.
Yeah.
I don't quite know what the foul was for. They were showing a replay of something. I think they were trying to insinuate that Souček may have handled the ball, which he clearly didn't when they showed it again in the build-up to the goal. But as you say, there's that tactic that much beloved of them in Liverpool, where if there's a promising move developing 10 yards either way of the halfway line, then stick the foul there. It's in an innocuous position. If enough of you do it, nobody picks up a yellow card. And what's happening now? We've got Bowen's got the ball in good position on the right-hand side. Rice now plays the ball across. Fornals heads it back. Shot comes in from Arthur, and another shot, like pinball in there. Arthur and Souček both had shots from distance, both blocked. Fornals now. Cross goes in. Oh, Suchek just doesn't get quite on the end of it, and we're having a bit of pressure here now. But we're being forced back. That's back on the halfway line now. But good little spell of pressure there, and Kufal's going down the right hand side, tries to get across, and it's out for a throw in. Yeah, some couple of shots on goal there. They didn't get very far, but whether or not they're on target, well, we'll let the stats guys measure those angles. But when we are going forward, they're not making it easy for Man City.
No, yeah, interesting shot there from Masuaku from that angle. It might have even been goal bound. Actually, you never know. But as you say, that and Suchek's subsequent follow up, both blocked. But another couple of shots to go on the tally for the stats. Rio, you were just taking us through the match thread quickly as we rapidly approach the final minute of the first half.
Yeah, Wormley's also pointed out on the BBC text commentary of this match, they put a nice build-up play from the injury hit Manchester City. Now, if they're full of injuries, I'd hate to say what they think of us at times. Sweet Hammer's put Masuaku's like a brand new player. So impressed with him the last few matches.
Yeah.
Dodger, very harsh, I know, but apart from the goal, which was excellent and pretty much his own work, hasn't Antonio been a bit, well, crap? Which
I can harsh.
I can understand where he's coming from.
But sorry, just to interrupt there. Kufal's just got a cross in. I think Bowen was in. It went behind him, but he threw a sort of back leg, which whether or not that'll count as a shot, I don't know. But again, we're actually beginning to boss this last couple of minutes. But Antonio's giving it away again there, just to say that. I'm really going to have to shut up when we're looking promising, aren't I?
Yeah, we're pretty much on half time now. West Ham, of course, as Gnome says, we've been in control.
1 minute of added time to come, and
just one to go.
4 seconds into it.
Okay, we're West Ham in control for the last 10 minutes. Of course, having scored the only goal of the game so far, so all looking really, really good. Rio, let's come back to the match in just a moment. We'll wait for half time just in case anything happens between now and then. As Gnome's pointed out, there is only one additional minute to play, and we've got about another 30 seconds of that or so left to go. It's West Ham United 1, Manchester City 0 so far. We'll have a little chat. Let us know on the match thread on KUMB or via the live chat on YouTube what you think of the game so far, who you think's been West Ham's best players, what you think of Man City, how you think we should play the second half, if David Moyes should perhaps make any changes. Let us know what you think. Mark English has let us know what he thinks. He thinks the ref's an idiot. It's a contact sport. And I think, Mark, plenty of sympathy for that view so far from the match thread on KUMB and also from our sitting rooms here. No, take us through to half-time, if you will, please. We must be pretty much
It is half-time.
It is half-time.
Last half was a cross came in, ball went up in the air. Aguero was looking interested, but Fabianski came out of the 6-yard box to make sure he got it and then make sure he sort of stayed down, having made the save. Half-time, 1-0. Last couple of minutes have looked very promising from an attacking point of view. Just try to see who that is. There's one Manchester City player who's lingering with the referee. Can't think why, because they've had every break going, including that non-yellow card. No, good solid half. The concentration in defence has been pretty much spot on. Yeah. The thing is, with that, you've got to concentrate and you've got to keep that focus going for the whole 90 minutes. Those first couple of minutes after half time are going to be crucial in this game for us. And just like to say also that as an advert for the various European games has just come on. If anyone at the club is watching this and you ever considered doing some sort of kit that looks like that Man United away kit, I will personally come and put something nasty through your letterbox. So
Yeah, it's something else. That it looks like something else. I don't know why, but it brings to mind the Lion King to me for some reason. I'm not quite sure exactly why, but
Brings to mind epilepsy to me.
yeah, very interesting. It's one of those, I think, in 20 or 30 years' time when we're doing those roundups. Well, say I probably won't be here in 20 or 30 years' time. But when our future comers are doing the roundups, it might be one of those worst kit selections, not one of the best. It's half time, as Noma said, at Stratford. It's West Ham United 1, Manchester City 0. Great stuff from the Hammers so far, Rio. We were saying just before half time, weren't we, that we were really happy with the way it's gone. A little flourish at the end as well, at the end of the first half there, just to put a bit of icing on the cake as well.
Yeah, that's very impressive, wasn't it? We defended very much unlike a West Ham side defends. Soaked up the pressure. We didn't offer a lot going forward first 20 minutes, but we was completely under the cosh. And against City, you expect that. But like last week, we've grown into the game. And we've not only grown into the game, we've exerted the pressure, and we look the better side at the moment. And let's not forget, these two teams we've played over the last 2 weeks, allegedly the cream of English football. Tottenham, Champions League finalists not so long ago.
Well, not Tottenham.
Manchester City have been pretty much the dominant side bar last season in English football for 5 years. And we make them look pretty much on our level and ordinary. What's happened to West Ham? Can I have my old West Ham back? Not too quickly, obviously. Give it a couple of years. But
you can keep it.
If you find them, can you return them safely in the post?
just think how good we could be if we were well run.
Yeah, well, let's try and keep it positive today. We're on a good run of form. One thing I should mention, perhaps, that I forgot to mention before the game is supporters group Hammers United are out and about around the city today. They are doing a series of small protests, 10 protests in all today, happening in various places around the city. From Wembley, there's a couple of protests going on outside the old ground, one at the statue at the junction of Barking Road and Green Street, a little gathering outside the ground as well, also at Hermit Road and the Memorial Ground. Just to remind people that even though West Ham are doing very well on the field so far, there's still a lot of concerns with what's going on in the boardroom. We shall be doing a roundup of that on KUMB.com probably tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon, when I will have the opportunity to have spoken with one or two of the guys, Bubbles, Paul Colborne, and of course Tross, who's someone well-known, very well-known to the people of KUMB. But I'll be speaking to those guys a little bit later, and we'll be bringing you a roundup of what's been going on. But lots of visual protests going on today. Let's concentrate for now on what's going on at Stratford. It's West Ham United 1, Manchester City 0. A really, really strong first half performance from the Hammers. Man City, looking a little bit frustrated towards the end. Kind of, we said it, a lot of it was coming down their left-hand side, our right. Cancelo, pretty much the architect of everything that they'd created in the first half. But Lucas Fabianski, not a single save to make in the first half, really.
Not a proper save. He's held on to a couple of not particularly accurate crosses.
Yeah.
Came for that last one that Aguero was beginning to look a little bit interested if that got through. But yeah, I mean, it's a case of as I mentioned just now, the organisation concentration is spot on at the moment. There was one point, and maybe about 15, 20 minutes in, something like that, just a little thing that I noticed was that Cresswell had got a foot in, and the ball went away from goal, and the player, the Man City player, I don't know who it was sort of went backwards with it, and Cresswell followed him for a few yards, and it was Souček automatically dropped in behind, to cover. And when it became apparent that the player was going to continue going back, wasn't going to turn, somebody else took over from Cresswell. Cresswell jogged back, and as he jogged back, Souček just sort of exchanged glances and sort of, like they knew where they were supposed to be at that point, and they swapped back again.
Yeah.
Now, just a minor thing, and it's a sort of thing that, pundits and people are never going to pick up on, but it's probably sort of what really ought to be part of the course, I suppose. But all too often, you might see Cresswell come out of defence like that, and whoever's supposed to be filling in that gap not doing so, and the ball get played in behind him. Boom. And the one time that sort of thing happened was against Souček was caught with Aguero made the run from deep. And didn't appear on Souček's radar, but that's really the only one sort of concern. Some fine performances out there. Masuaku's had a good game.
Been exceptional, isn't he, so far?
As well as going forward. We haven't mentioned Rice at all, but I thought Rice has been doing superbly there in the middle. The marshalling job he's doing, he's making sure everyone knows where they're supposed to be, and the organisation, again, those little let me get my foot in here and break up the attack. Just showing the goal again. And,
I was just going to come to that actually. Rio, I don't know if you want to jump in on this one quickly, but any concerns about the goalkeeping there, or is it just a fantastic finish from Antonio, which it certainly was?
I just think no one was expecting that, was they? He had no options whatsoever. You would have thought he'd try and bring the ball down, play something on the edge of the box. I don't think anyone was expecting him to try and hit it first time over his head. And I think that's where the keeper's been caught out. I think it's just pure surprise. What an excellent finish. That's you want to say, excellent finish, excellent improvisation. I'm just looking at the replay there. Where the play on the edge of the box, I think everyone was expecting him to try and bring him into play. But no, not a bit of it. Flick over the shoulder in the back of the net. Now, I'm not going to blame the keeper for that. I think he's just very slow to react
because the keeper before he knows it's there, doesn't he?
Yeah, exactly. He wasn't expecting that at all. And as Gnome just said, by the time it had got anywhere near him, it's past him.
No, are we looking at the TV, looking at a potential handball there from Souček?
Yeah.
Is that what we're looking at?
Yeah, I mean, there was a player moaning at the referee pointing to his arm on the way off at half time.
Right.
They've just shown it, and from one angle, from behind, his arm is between the camera and the ball, but you can't tell if it's actually touched the inside of his arm. When they've shown it from another angle and they've put a big circle around it, there's daylight. It's not even close. And those are the straws you're clutching at. Now we're just looking again at the Antonio penalty appeal.
But this was an interesting one because the angle we got initially wasn't particularly clear, and I wasn't sure whether there was any touch on the ball. What are you thinking?
Well, I've just seen it again. He did get a touch on the ball, but the foot is between the player and the ball, and I think he might have touched Antonio just first there.
Okay.
The touch on the ball was very late, and Antonio was on his way down by that time. And it was looked at, and I think if they look at that, took some time looking at that, they might have a think about that because there's no way that Taylor could have seen from behind, which is where he almost certainly was for that one. But whoever's looking at that in VAR, looking from behind the goal, needs to look at because there is a touch on Antonio, which is fine if he's got the ball first. But I think the ball's second on that one.
So penalty for you. You'd have given that one.
I think it was if you look at that from a VAR perspective.
Okay.
VAR have clearly, because play carried on, and obviously I haven't really got the commentary turned up. So play carried on. There didn't seem to be anything sort of happening after that. So whatever look they had at it seemed very quickly. And you have to actually look at it quite close, because if you just look at the touch on the ball, you think, oh, he's touched the ball.
Yeah.
Then you just go away and say no penalty. But I think you'll find there might just be a touch on Antonio first.
I'm just watching that now actually, and I'm just seeing the slow-mo version. I'm just seeing the challenge come in. I don't see any challenge on the ball whatsoever. I think for me that's a penalty, and I think West Ham have been hard done by there. And if that has gone to VAR, and presumably it has gone to the studio, it would be very interesting to hear their excuse for not giving it. Rio, you should be seeing that just about right now if I've timed that timed that right. Have you seen those replays, the slow motion?
No, we're still watching the new Corsa getting a test drive on an advert. So it should be coming any minutes now.
All right, no worries. Well, when you've had a chance to look at that, let us know what you think, because I think both Gnome and I seem to feel that should have been a penalty. There's a very, very good shout, especially, I mean, we've seen an awful lot worse given, haven't we?
Perhaps we should write to the Premier League and demand an explanation. And yeah,
in the style of Liverpool, yes.
Liverpool.
Yes.
Who do they think they are?
I know, madness. Let's have a quick look at the live YouTube chat and just see what people are saying there. Hobo says, great stuff so far, West Ham. Like us, very, very pleased. W.A. Habington says, who do you want to bet City bring Tintin on for the second half? I think what he's suggesting there is that De Bruyne is probably going to come on and look to make the difference for Man City. Ken Clark says, Pep looks depressed. Lol, West Ham look more up for it. Certainly do so far. Steve Page says, great job on the field and off it so far from you guys. Thank you, Steve. We'll be back, of course. While Steve's on it, let me point out we'll be back very soon with KUMB Mastermind. Steve, of course, is our compere and our host with the most on KUMB Mastermind. We're about halfway through the first round of matches so far. So keep an eye on that. Keep an eye out for that on KUMB again very, very soon. Richard Van says it's a very good performance. We've grown into the game and have been the better team. Impressed with Arthur Masuaku. For me, Rice has given a great captain's performance and Bowen's pace has impressed me. I think, yeah, Bowen, we said very early on, didn't we? It looked like perhaps the conduit for West Ham's, best chances of breaking City down. Marrakesh Tall Trees said, who would have guessed, looking at our opening fixtures, that we'd be currently sitting, I can't say that, somewhere in the table. We'll come back to that at the end of the game, Marrakesh. We've made it for those joining us late. We're not going to talk about the live league table. We're not going to try and avoid tempting fate by suggesting where West Ham could be, should they managed to hang on and win this game. Last caress, our old friend Elsie. Afternoon. Good to see you, Elsie. I missed the goal since it's half-time. I don't suppose I could trouble any of you to recreate it for me. Maybe using mime or interpretive dance. Rio.
Can you just give me a couple of minutes and a chance to get a beer from the fridge? Then once I've limbered up and loosened, I'll be right on it. End of the game, I'll do it. End of the game.
Unfortunately, last caress. I can actually reinterpret it, but I did that while you missing it earlier on, and I can only do it once.
Rio preparing to be our very own Marceau then, perhaps a little bit later on. That should be interesting.
Milli
Vanilli. I can tell you, Elsie, it was an absolutely fantastic strike by Michael Antonio. A little overhead kick, putting West Ham in the lead and giving us this well-deserved, I think most would agree, half-time advantage. W.A. Habington says, was coming out of the toilet when the goal went in. Maybe I should just neck prune juice for the rest of the evening. I feel for your bladder if that's the case, my friend. But yeah, why not? Well, we're superstitions and all that. We've all got them. Maybe there's a good one for you to tell us on chat. What are your pre-match and superstitions? What do you do? Same pair of underpants every game, perhaps? Lucky hat? Who knows? Let us know what you think on the YouTube chat. Rio, half time. Let's have a quick look at the KUMB Forum match thread and just see what everyone's saying.
Yeah, we've got plenty of really constructive and positive comments coming through.
There's a but somewhere, I think, coming on. No.
Yeah, no. It's been really good today.
Okay, I thought you were setting us up there.
No, well, what do I do that?
The teams are out for the second half.
Right, I'll quickly run through these then. Dodgers put Rice has been absolutely outstanding so far. Brother Nero, after a slow, nervous start with green confidence, and in my honest opinion, with a better team, deserved the lead in the break. There was another goal or two in front of us. Punk Rock Hammer, another impressive performance so far. I didn't want him, but I'm really starting to want the boys. Much rather his team than the flaky mess the Corps gave us, and that's referring to Pellegrini, of course. Parker's here, great half. Bowen is an absolute workhorse and quick as hell when he gets the chance to open up. We're starting to look like a team who work for each other. And just to finish off here, Swearly, I don't usually comment about refereeing, but Taylor and company are having a laugh. Where was the penalty? The replay didn't show City getting the ball and cutting back Antonio down. Where was the yellow on the pullback? Are you kidding me? Wow.
Yep.
Dodger as well, another one referring to Antonio. His half was bizarre. A fantastic goal and did really well a couple other times. Every other time he's been involved, he's passed it to them, run nowhere with the ball, gave it away and miscontrolled it. Still, rather he did latter 10 more times if it means does the former just once more a day.
There is a change at half time, guys, when you're ready.
Yeah, we'll come back to that in just a moment. Let's just finish our roundup quickly if we can.
Yep, so 2 more points. Trevor Sinclair apparently has put on Twitter, VAR useless. That was 100% handball. Where's the loyalty, Trev? Where's the loyalty? And the other big talking point from the first half was we've obviously not got the commentary on because we don't want the feedback coming through.
Yeah.
But apparently, is it Kufal or is it Sufal? And there's a little bit of chat about that. I just don't know. It's Kufal, begins with a C. It's C. It's Kufal.
I'm not having that. It's a C. It's a K. It's a Czech K. Do we say the Czech Republic? No. So why would we say Sufal?
Exactly.
At all. Gnome, you have a change for us. So there's Man City, I believe, have made a change.
City have just actually won a corner out on their left. The change is that Aguero is off and has been replaced by Foden.
Ooh, okay.
I don't know if that's injury or tactical. But City have the corner anyway on our right, their left, which is just, you want to stick with me while they take it.
Absolutely.
Corner's played in. And it's headed clear. City sort of trying to work it back at the moment down our right hand side. This is where we really need to be tight. Well, I think that was a foul from Masuaku. But let's have a look. Masuaku shoved Ruben Diaz in the back, who's played the ball into touch, and the throw-in's been given. So we've been given one there, I think. So throwing deep on our left-hand side, a yard or so up the pitch. Just taken now. Let's just say these first 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes, we've really got to be at it.
Yeah, vitally important if we're going to hang on to this or even extend that lead. Yeah. Who knows? Maybe there's more goals coming, Rio. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I mean, City are going to respond. You know that. A little bit strange to see Aguero taken off, but
yeah, it's an odd one, that isn't it? Did you think that's tactical or probably more to be?
I think it is. I think he's going to try and push Sterling a bit more central, try and exploit a little bit of space and make a bit of confusion in the centre with Foden kind of roaming around there. But yeah,
Rodri,
you know they're going to respond.
Had a shot from something like 30 yards. On target, Fabianski probably had it covered, but it was, I think, Kufal or Sufal, whichever way round.
Sufal.
Blocked it, went out, could have gone anywhere, went out for a corner. Manchester City, ball played in, and well played, well cleared. Antonio's killed the ball, held it up well, played it outright to Cresswell. Plays the ball down the line for Antonio. Go on, son, get there. And just hustled out of it there by, that's Walker, isn't it? Need to hold on to it a little bit more there, but that was semi-promising. But possession's gone back to Manchester City again. And we've got that sort of organised defence, everyone moving in line at the moment. As I say, like to see us holding on to the ball a little bit better in these first 10, 15 minutes of the second.
Yeah. I suppose you could say, Rio, that the second half has begun in a pretty similar pattern to the first half, began with City bossing the game, dominating possession, but West Ham standing firm.
Yeah, very much so. And also you've got to kind of think, it's like the start of last week, you've got to kind of make sure you regroup, keep your concentration, keep your focus, don't let any gaps be exploited, and just show a little bit of what Moyes has been drilling into us. A bit of defensive now and a bit of togetherness, a bit of intelligence. Banks of 4, banks of 5, keep it clean.
49 minutes gone. It's West Ham United 1, Manchester City 0. The only goal of the game coming after 18 minutes from Michail Antonio with an overhead kick, converting Vladimir Kufal, or is it Sufal? his cross from the right-hand side. Man City made a change at half-time, the only change so far, with Phil Foden coming on for Aguero, which we feel is probably a tactical change rather than an injury to Aguero. But looking good, Gnome, so far. As you say, we do need to get our foot on the ball, hold up possession a little bit. Just a couple of quick comments before I come to you on YouTube chat. Rahul Singh, good to see you, Rahul, said that after the Spurs turnaround, I'm confident now. Great to see a bit of confidence from the Hammers fans. Mark English says, pre-match routine, have a Kit Kat to line the stomach, then drink beer, going back to our superstitions that we asked you for. If you've got any superstitions, do let us know what you do. As I said, lucky underpants or lucky hat, scarf, anything like that. Let us know what you do to try and push the Hammers to victory. Paul Origi finished the half strong. Do that again second half and end the game like last week. We'd certainly take that, wouldn't we, Paul? Gnome, 50 minutes gone. West Ham 1, Man City 0.
Yeah, first yellow card of the game. Kuvo lost the ball on the right-hand side, and as the ball was laid off, he just clipped. Not sure who it was actually. Yeah, you see him giving bookings for that, but you also see people giving bookings for pulling players back by the shirt, which seems to. It's 1-1.
Okay.
Foden's scorer came down our left-hand side. Kufel got done. Just going to see it again. It's Foden anyway, who, considering he's just scored, looks a miserable little so-and-so. That's that Cancelo again. He's gone straight past Kufel. Ball played in, and ball flicks up. Let's have a look at this now. Doesn't really control it, but it lands nicely for him, and he can hit it on the turn. Yeah, as I feared, it's that left-hand side of theirs, our right-hand side, where it was all coming first half. We got it all to do again.
We have to start again. We do have to start again. 51st minute. It's Phil Foden. He's only been on the pitch for 6 minutes. Substitute coming on for Aguero at half-time.
We made a substitution of our own now.
Okay.
Antonio's off and Yarmolenko was on just before the goal. We saw Nolan going through his folders with Yarmolenko. So, again, not quite sure. I'm presuming that must be a fitness issue.
Yeah, well, we saw Antonio struggle a little bit, didn't we, at Tottenham last week? We heard that he wasn't perhaps 100% for today. So no surprises, I guess, really, that he's gone off. But he's done his job today, of course, scoring West Ham's opening goal. Unfortunately,
he's gone straight down the tunnel anyway.
Okay. Unfortunately, Man City have levelled now, just 6 minutes into this second half. Phil Foden, the substitute, converting a low cross from the right after Kufal was left for dead. Rio, didn't manage to hang on, did we?
No, and this is what we were talking about. He's exploited a little bit of space in between Balboa and Ogbonna there. If I was Fabianski, I'd be a little bit disappointed being beaten in the near post there. I think he could have done a little bit better himself. But maybe like Ederson in the first half, he probably wasn't expecting that shot on a turn like that. But yeah, it's very disappointing. But, we've got to regroup and come back again. We've been a better side for most of this game. Yeah,
I think that's the salient point, isn't it? That we certainly haven't been outplayed at all. Done a very, very good defensive job so far, taken our opportunities when they've arisen, and we need to do it all over again. But no, we certainly wouldn't put it beyond West Ham going out there and regaining the lead after what we've seen so far.
Not this half though. We've been sitting back, quite deep. Couple of times just a second ago, there was a potential through ball where had the block not been put in, that might have caused problems. I will admit to being slightly more concerned than I was 15, 20 minutes ago. We need to really be disciplined now. Again. Ball played out from the right over towards from their right over towards their left. I'm not sure that, and it's Cancelo again. Got in behind Kufal.
They're obviously looking at this Gnome and seeing an opportunity from which to profit, because they did it throughout the first half. That's where the goals come from in the second half, and obviously still trying to do the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, if Cancelo had actually been able to control that ball, we'd have been in trouble there. Well, let's just sit down. Let's just get our breath. Let's be organised. Somebody needs to be having a quiet word with Kufal, saying, "Look, you're getting caught out there."
I mean, just looking at that one, you're talking about the ball over the top. Bowen, I think it's Bowen, is actually pointing out to him to say, "Watch the run behind you," and he's not seen it at all. But Rio, do we think that they've? I mean, it certainly looks like they've targeted Kufal here as perhaps a weak link in West Ham's defence, which might be surprising to those of us who've seen his first couple of games for the team.
Yeah, no, in the games he's played previously, I've not seen any evidence of a weak link so far.
We've got Yarmolenko on the right-hand side now. He's got into the box. He hasn't been able to get the cross in, and I think that's just been given as a goal kick.
Okay,
promising move into the box there, but they weren't allowing him to do the cutting back thing. And I think he had an air shot and the ball went out for a goal kick.
Okay, good stuff. Rio, back to you, Kufal.
Yeah, and also what's a little bit concerning as well is he's had the benefit of having Bowen in front of him doing a lot of work up until now. But that switch with Yarmolenko, rather surprisingly, coming on instead of Haller for Antonio, has potentially left Kufal a little bit more exposed, if you ask me.
Those balls in behind the defence now. Ball played in, and it's played first time. Sterling's onside. Fabianski read it very, very well, but those balls are now beginning to get through, whereas they weren't before.
Okay, let's have a quick chat about that decision. Rio, Yarmolenko, would you have brought him on if you had to remove Antonio, or would you have been looking for a straight swap with Haller?
I mean, I would have done the straight swap with Haller myself. I mean, I do love Yarmolenko. I think he's a great little player. He doesn't offer kind of. Let's put it this way: the pace.
Up now. Foden's just made a run in, and it's bypassed the midfield, and he's got in, taken a touch, got a shot in first time. Very weak shot, but again, we're not. That was a run that wasn't tracked. Ever so slightly concerned here now.
Okay, well, we'll keep an eye on that and see what happens. But Rio, you were just saying you would have brought Haller on instead of Yarmolenko.
Yeah, I think what were the players around him in terms of Fornals and Bowen, he would have been able to bring them into play and link up a little bit better than Yarmolenko would be.
Yeah.
Also, Yarmo does centre drift a little bit wide at times. But I just don't think he offers the defensive solidity down the right-hand side either now. So I think Kufal could be exposed a little bit more.
Okay, well, we'll keep an eye on that.
Just looking at Bowen's position, he seems to have moved more central,
right,
and maybe playing more as the striker, if you like, such as we've got.
Well, we spoke about that potential false nine, didn't we, at Tottenham last week?
Yeah.
Maybe that's something else we're looking. Maybe we're not looking for an out-and-out striker.
So
maybe that's why Haller wasn't introduced there for Antonio. But anyway, 58 minutes gone. West Ham 1, Manchester City 1. The Hammers pegged back after 51 minutes by that Phil Foden goal, having taken the lead after 18 minutes through Michail Antonio, who is, of course, no longer on the field, having been replaced. Gnome, your thoughts on that sub? Would you have brought Yarmolenko on, or like Rio, would you have perhaps been looking to introduce Haller?
How fit is Haller? I mean, obviously he's fit enough to be on the bench. It may be something that they've been working on in training. The natural sub would have been to bring on Haller, but clearly it may be something they've been working on alternatively. As a terrible cross comes in from the right from Manchester City, it's gone behind. But all being equal, I mean, Haller would be the first choice, but what have they been working on with this? Yarmolenko definitely needs to be giving Kufal a hand out that left hand side. Foden is making all sorts of runs between the lines that we're not picking up, and we need to be we need to be thinking about the game, talking about the game at this point. Goal kick to West Ham. Anyway, Fabianski goes long, and that's still in. Ball was hooked forward there, potential for promising, but it didn't get between. Oh, they've given it away though, and now Bowen's into the box. He's trying to get the cross in. It's blocked, and it's a corner to West Ham.
Okay.
Good break from Bowen there. Good direct dart into the box. Yarmolenko did well there. Play Bowen in.
Yeah.
Bowen was actually surrounded by 2 players, so getting the cross in was going to be difficult. But the corner's a good result.
Okay. Well, let's stick with you, Gnome, for the corner as it comes in.
Yeah. We're just seeing who's going to take it. Can't see who's out there. Corner
We are an hour into the game, of course.
Straight into the keeper's hands. We need to get back now, because this is when we often get caught.
Okay.
Yeah, a corner to us. Good block by Rice yet again. Played son. And ball's gone out for a silly throw, but he did well there.
Okay. Well, we are, as I said, we are an hour into the game. West Ham 1, Man City 1. Rio, as Gnome's pointed out there, it looks very much like Bowen's taken that striker's position now, with Yarmolenko moving out to the right. So I guess it's a case more of Moyes wanting to keep, Bowen in. It's a place we know he's played there before. He's not a traditional striker, but we know he's played up front. And obviously Yarmolenko, perhaps somewhat surprisingly, been put in, on the right flank to cover Kufal.
Yeah, no,
jump in there. Walker's just had a shot about 25, 30 yards out. Caught it sweetly, probably too sweetly. It's gone straight down Fabianski's throat. A little bit of swerve on it, but he covered that. But again, we're not going out to block these people.
Okay, good stuff. Man City, of course, looking to come from behind to win this game. They haven't managed it yet. It's still 1-1. But Rio, we were just talking there about Yarmolenko. Looks like he's been pushed out on the right-hand side.
Yeah, he's not known for his defensive abilities and his tracking back. I mean, he did an excellent piece of defensive work last week, trying to put Gareth Bale off at the end of the game last week.
Yeah.
But apart from that, you can count his defensive contributions on one hand over his last 2.5 years.
Yeah.
So that's why I worry. And Kufal's obviously been targeted. Bowen normally offers a lot of work rate and covering down there. I mean, will Yarmolenko be able to keep up with that? Will he have the mental discipline to do it? And that's a worry. Also, as Gnome pointed out, where Phil Foden's operating is exactly where Son and Kane were switching last week and dropping off and causing us all sorts of problems in the first half an hour of last week's game.
Mm-hmm.
This is something we've got to try and work on. We've got to work on the discipline when a player of that ilk comes on and starts thinking out of the box. We've got to have someone target him, keep a track of him constantly, because as he's hurt us already and he could do it again. He's a quality player.
Yeah,
but we need a little bit more. Sorry, Gary.
Sorry, buddy. No, I was just going to say another player very capable of doing that, still on the bench. Kevin De Bruyne, of course, who hasn't been playing for a while, and the player that perhaps we feared might come on at half-time to change it around, still sat there. But I'm guessing that, we'll probably see him at some point in the next 20 minutes or so, if Man City still can't score. Just something I wanted to...
panic in the ranks.
No.
Bonner came out, missed his challenge. Manchester City tried to play it through, and Kufal managed to get the ball away for a corner. It wasn't tidy as the challenge. He slipped as he did it. But another corner to Manchester City.
Okay, well, once again, as you're ahead there
back to
for
the
us.
edge of the box. Cancelo feigns to shoot, then cuts outside, curls it just wide. Guardiola is having a word with De Bruyne, who's still got his orange bib on. So, looking at the shot there, it was quite wide. But, De Bruyne is now getting stripped and ready to come on, which is obviously a bit of a worry.
Okay. No surprise, though, I guess, really. But, as we're saying, West Ham beginning to get a little bit pegged back now. It's... by this time in the first half, we'd sort of found our feet a little bit, but we're not really providing any threat at the moment. So we do need to get our foot on the ball. No.
Fanal's out to Masuaku. Wasn't the greatest of ball, but Masuaku brings it under control. Cresswell, lovely ball in to the Yarmolenko's been called offside there, so ignore that then.
Okay, no worries. As Gnome said, it looks like the introduction of Kevin De Bruyne is nigh in discussion. He's changing his top now. He may even be on now because I'm about 30 seconds behind the live stream. But just something I wanted to touch on quickly. Coming back to Kufal, he's been beaten a couple of times for pace down that right-hand side. But just before he joined, we did a post on KUMB from someone who's very well versed on Czech football and knows a lot about Thomas Kufal from having watched him over the years for the Czech national team and at Prague. And just going back to what he says about Kufal's pace, he says that in Thomas Souček, West Ham are the greatest marathon runner of the 1920 group stages in the Champions League. But in Kufal, they're getting the fourth greatest and the second in Slavia's team. He appears to have 2 extra lungs and covers the entire flank, never dropping below 11 metres covered per game. Kufal boasts great top speed and was the main chaser in the Slavia defence, making up ground on attackers rather easily at times, even if his first few steps are a little bit awkward. So Rio, no evidence there whatsoever that Kufal's slow or lacking in any pace, but you know, our Czech correspondent there saying that he's actually very quick. So surprising perhaps to see him get done once or twice down the flank.
I think it's probably just a different intensity of the Premier League, isn't it?
Yeah.
Where players are blessed with sprinter-like qualities all over the pitch. I just think it's a cultural thing rather than actual ability-wise.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't seen him really caught out before today. And
no. Certainly not for pace, anyway.
Exactly. And you've got to say, Manchester City, they do have a lot of players who are incredibly quick. The way they play and move the ball, that creates another yard of space itself, doesn't it? So
yeah,
I think it's more kind of ability and technical wise rather than actual potential pace of the actual person.
Okay, good stuff. Well, we'll keep an eye on it. Anyway, we're just under 23 minutes left to play. West Ham 1, Man City 1, Gnome. We're still hanging on in there, but it's not looking as promising as it did at half-time.
No, we just saw, though, some sterling work from Masuaku, who was alive to the potential ball played inside him. And he turned and brought the ball out of the box superbly well. A couple of minutes ago now, you might have heard me say it. Actually, we're on the attack a little bit now. Ball's played out on the left to Masuaku, keeps it in, brings the ball down, and keeps possession with Cresswell now. Mm-hmm. But it's come to naught. We've all gone back to Ogbonna. But Masuaku's having a fine game for me.
Yeah.
But we've got to keep hold of this ball when we've got possession. We lost it. We've just won it back. And Masuaku picks up the ball now, left-hand side, going towards the penalty area, squares the ball. Souček, it's all very tight there. Rice plays it now wide right. Bowen's had a goal, but no, not as close as it would, or Yarmolenko rather than Bowen.
Yep.
Not as close as my reaction may have made it sound, I think. So
we were all getting excited here. We thought we might be on for another goal. You've had us over the barrel there.
It was a couple of foot over as the substitution's now finally made.
Okay.
And Bernardo Silva's off and De Bruyne is on. So, yeah. Are you sure you want to do that, Pep? Making a change of our own. Bowen's come off and we've now got Haller on. So the experiment of Bowen playing down the middle there has run its course and we've now got Haller on. So all the focus before that was obviously on De Bruyne, and the fact that Haller was getting changed was obviously deemed to be not important enough to show us by the good people at BT.
Well, you know, going back to that Yarmolenko chance, I thought it was a pretty decent effort, actually. I mean, it wasn't that far over, was it? I mean,
no. When I saw the replay, it was closer than I actually perhaps thought. But
yeah, we'll take it. I mean, our first shot at goal, I think, since half time, so we'll certainly take it. But as you said, changes made from each side. De Silva leaves the field of play to be replaced by Kevin De Bruyne, the real player we were all concerned about at the start of the game. And that experiment, as Gnome said, with Bowen perhaps going up front, hasn't really paid off. We've seen the ball come back too often. And I suppose proactive stuff there, good stuff really from David Moyes, Rio. He's seen it, it's not working. You know, we haven't even played 70 minutes and we've made a substitution. So I suppose credit there to Moyes for looking at that, realising it hasn't paid off and bringing Hilaire on.
Yeah, no, you've got to say, I mean, it's the right decision. It's very as you say, very unlike Moyes to make a kind of proactive decision. But you can see this isn't working. You can see we're struggling in that area. We need to get someone up front who's going to hold on to the ball and bring players in. We've kind of lost our grip on the game, and City exerting their pressure, and they can really hurt us. So we've really had to address it. So, yeah, it's something that needed to be done.
Hilaire, Gnome, what are we expecting from him here? I mean, one thing we don't often see from him is an awful lot of work rate. Is it sort of making the runs between the lines, dropping in, doing a bit of defending? Yeah, we're going to need that today, aren't we?
I think so, yeah. We need him to be sort of chasing down all those lost causes. Foden tries to play the ball in. Cancelo. But it's broken down, and we've actually... Well, that was promising. Halaire's actually come back to try and win a ball. We didn't get anywhere near it, and Sterling's in a good position. Don't dive in, and the ball comes across from De Bruyne, but there's nobody in the 6-yard box for Man City. And Arthur's now bringing it away down the left. And looking for somebody to pass it to. He's just run into the midfielder, who sort of 16 is. But that wasn't good for Arthur. He's had a decent game so far. But De Bruyne is beginning to pull the strings a little bit. I've seen him put one ball through that. Maybe he was testing his range earlier on, but it's a bit sort of, we need to be working here. But so far we are, but it's all a little bit, we're looking for that one slip.
Yeah.
That costs us.
Okay.
But, again, we bide our time and get the foot in as and when. And that's a long ball from Arthur out wide. That's good to find Yarmolenko. Yarmolenko's done his fullback. He's done Cancelo, but Cancelo gets back to him. Yarmolenko then he's into the box. He's cut in, but he's got no help out there. He's now played it for Kufal, but giving Kufal far too much to do, and it's gone out. That was poor from Yarmolenko, who acknowledges that, puts his hand up. But again, at least a lovely ball cross field, got 40-50 yard pass that set that up. But we need to make the most of situations like that. We can't.
Yeah. I was going to say then, no, one or two signs though in the last few minutes that we are beginning to look a little bit more of a threat. The first 25 minutes perhaps of this half, we didn't. Or first 20 minutes we didn't do anything, did we? But one or two signs. The Yarmolenko shot, the dart into the box there. More something a little bit more hopeful for Hammers fans to
We're getting into this habit though of when we're winning the ball. If we win the ball in the back four, just now as a case in point, I think O'Bonnor there was had an easy pass onto Cresswell, but elected to try and hoof it long because it's come straight back at us. Sterling's got the ball on the left hand side of the box. It's back to Cancelo, who's looking for an opening. He's again played the ball through, but again we're alive to it. It's good defence that, because they're trying to play those little balls in between, and we are picking them up. But you've got to pick them up every time. You only need that to be lucky once.
Yeah. And, West Ham have one more substitution left to go. Rio. Paul Origi has suggested that we replace Fornals with Lanzini. Fornals been very, very quiet today, hasn't he? I know it's been difficult to show his attacking prowess perhaps in a game where he's had to defend from the front, but. Is that something that would work for you? Do you see Fornals perhaps as the final man to come off?
I think he will be the one to make way. I don't think Lanzini, despite last week's heroics, is necessarily the person we need at the moment.
Yeah,
we need a little bit of steel in there for me. I don't know who can actually provide it, but we need someone who's going to offer a little bit of defensive stability and offer something a bit more in midfield, because we're under the cosh a little bit here, and Lanzini, for all his creative efforts and his attacking ability, isn't the man you'd like with in the trenches, is he?
Yeah, I guess looking at what we've got on the bench, Rio, the only sort of non-defensive player out there still that's yet to be included is Mark Noble. Could this be a game for Noble to come in and shore it up a little bit? Again,
in essence, yes, and I'd say about 5 or 10 years ago, definitely. But at the moment, the way that City moving past the ball so quickly, and and not a match fit Mark Noble could be made to look a bit embarrassed at times potentially. So it's a hard one to call. Noble, the style of player we need. Lenzini, possibly the fittest option.
Okay.
So it's a different one to call. But as it stands, I'd actually keep Fornells. I know he's been a little bit quiet, but he's offered a lot of stability. And he still offers an outlet. Once he does get on the ball, he could do it. He can be the one who create.
Okay.
Plus, he offers the defensive work as well. And
yes, he does, and very much so. I guess, gentlemen, this is the point where if Pinky was here, he'd be telling us that our lack of movement in the transfer market and inability to shore up the defence would be showing right now on the field. But of course, Pinky's not with us today.
No, it's not goal or anything.
He's having us on again. Look.
It's a promising move. We brought the ball out beautifully from defence, and we've just, there's Haller and Yarmolenko messed up between them, and it's so frustrating because, as I say, we've got to make those moments, make the most of those moments, and it's like, no.
Okay. All right. Well, Rio and I will breathe a huge sigh of relief. I don't think I was the only one who felt that might have been another City goal. Apologies to everyone watching us on the stream. But it's still 1-1 anyway. We're into the last 15 minutes. West Ham United 1, Manchester City 1. Both sides, I think, have had made 2 substitutions so far. 1 left to go. Mark English a few moments ago said, "Give us a goal, Gnome." And Mark English said a few seconds ago, "Seriously, don't do that, Gnome." So
sorry, Mark. Sorry, everybody. It's just it's the sort of noise I'd make if I were at the ground, as everyone knows. But of course, if I'm at the ground, everyone sat next to me can see it at the same time as me, so they know.
It's still 1-1. Don't worry, everyone. We're still in there. We're still hanging on. We're still good for a point as we approach the last 15 minutes. Match stats. Rio, we haven't had a look at the match thread, have we? For ages now. Let's have a quick look at that in just a minute. I'll do the match stats and then we'll come to that. Possession-wise, West Ham 31% overall, 69% to Man City. West Ham 5 shots at goal. Man City 10. West Ham only 1 shot on target so far. The goal, of course, coming from Michail Antonio after 18 minutes. Manchester City 4 on target. They, of course, have also only managed to hit the back of the net once. West Ham have enjoyed 2 corners, Man City 6. West Ham have committed 10 fouls to Manchester City's 3. 77 minutes almost gone. It's 1-1. Rio, what's happening on the KUMB Forum match thread?
Yeah, as predictable, there's a lot of debate over the goal. Someone said it was like echoes of last week. Balbuena dropped off and lost his man in the middle. Fabianski's coming for a little criticism, as is Declan Rice for losing his person. Punk Rock Hammer's put, even if we lose, how much of an improvement has this been against City? We're usually humiliated.
Yeah.
Just Manchester City just forced a corner, by the way. Yarmolenko got skinned on their left-hand side again, our right. And Balbuena's put it out for a corner. Manchester City making a sub. Walker's come off and Zinchenko is come on. I'm feeling very old. All these footballers look like about 12.
Do you know what? I was just going to say that. I've just looked at Zinchenko on the touchline there and thought, this is like an academy player they're bringing, like an under 14 or something, looking incredibly young. But no, take us through the corner, if you will.
Well, corner's been taken and it played out to the edge of the box. Ball's come in and Haller's put the challenge in to put it out for another corner. So second corner, again taken short. They like a short corner. Ball played in, not so much of a cross along the floor, but from De Bruyne, but Fabianski's down to smother. Not sure anybody was ever actually getting that. It's not a great ball. Fabianski and Balbuena are both getting there before any Man City players. So Fabianski launches it long anyway. Haller wins it, but of course there's nobody sort of ahead of him that's gone through to Ederson in the Man City goal.
Okay, it's still 1-1. West Ham hanging on a little bit now, but just over 11 minutes to go in Stratford. And it's, as I say, it's 1 goal. Zinchenko is, for the record, 23, not 14. So, it's probably more to do with us than the players on the pitch right now. Rio, back to you for the match thread, buddy.
Yeah, no, people might comment how we're going to miss Bowen's industry now he's off. A lot of debate over Haller. Osler's put, that's the reason Seb isn't right in Moyes' setup. he ain't lazy, but he suits a team that builds up through him, not some that runs their knackers off like Iron Mike.
Man City have a free kick, by the way. Bonner's just gone through the back of Sterling. And Sterling, who, free kick is, say, from Manchester City's point of view, left of centre, and it's about 20 yards out. There's Mahrez, De Bruyne all lining up. This is going to be a worry.
Okay.
Fabianski is organising the wall, and it looks like De Bruyne is taking the steps to take it. Fornals is doing that thing behind the wall so that if they jump, it hits him. And he's actually lying prone on the floor now. De Bruyne shoots and Fabianski saves. It's on target, but let's have a look now. It was over the wall, but fairly straight, and it was meat and drink for Fabianski.
West Ham survive.
We don't want to be giving too many free kicks away down there, please.
Yeah, I'm not sure that was even a free kick anyway. It looked like
I think it was. He went through his back. Yeah.
Oh, I'm not sure about that. I think Sterling felt the touch and
you're a defender. I'm an attacker.
Flung himself to the deck. Really, well, that is true. But you wouldn't have seen me do that back in the day. Go down for that. But anyway, the danger is averted. It stays.
You'd have kicked him. It would have been a free kick. More movement down the City left. De Bruyne is looking. No, not De Bruyne. Sorry, looking. Zinchenko's looking for help. Dangerous looking cross, which Manchester City didn't really sort of attack, but Fabianski punched it anyway.
Yeah.
Arthur tidies up, ball played out. Haller's not getting that, but ball's played back and it's played wide left. Can Fornals keep that in? He can. Deep in City territory now. He's kept it in and then gone and put it out. Oh, referee's given the free kick for that one by the looks of things because Ruben's holding his hands up innocently. Let's have a look. Nothing in that, but referee's given it anyway. Yeah, just a little. No. I think that's 1-1 then on your counting, Graham.
Yeah.
Quite well Fabianski elected to punch that. He could have caught that, I'd have thought, but spectacular looking punch anyway. But we've got a free kick anyway. Wide out left. Cresswell's on the ball now. And we've got 8 minutes, 15 seconds of normal time left. Ball in from Cresswell. Straight in the Man City head. Cleared out.
Where's Lanzini when you need him, eh? Following up.
Arthur, what are you doing there, mate? Arthur keeps the ball somehow. Kufal plays the ball in. Haller wins. And Souček tried to force something. They've given a free kick there. I think there was a bit of a handball in there, yeah.
Okay.
Just surprised it took so long for the whistle to go, but
okay. What have we got? 7.5 minutes or so to go now. It's still 1-1 anyway. Can I just take us back a minute? Hang on. Rio, let me go back to that free kick just a minute ago from De Bruyne. Have you ever seen a footballer lie on the floor like that before, as Fornals did? Did you see that?
Yeah, no,
I have seen it.
Yeah, I've seen it as well.
Okay.
It come into play a couple of times last year. I think after De Bruyne scored, can't remember who it was against, but he did it against somebody. Yeah. And a week later, we had the player lying behind the wall. As for West Ham, I've never seen us do it intentionally. Let's put it that way. Yeah.
I just wonder what happens if De Bruyne thinks, well, I'm just going to hit it straight at his arm and they get a penalty from it. I just wonder if that, you're causing yourself just as much trouble as...
Don't complicate things, Gray. Don't complicate things.
You're right. Once again, the danger was averted, so no problem. Gnome.
Yeah.
Over to you.
I think Manchester City have got a corner here, which Arthur did the tidying up thing. Again, if that'd been a goal from that'd have been reviewed and it would have been called offside. And yet, Yarmolenko's bringing the ball out. That's offside. He's kept his flag down, and Fornals is actually tries to chip Ederson and doesn't. That looked well offside to me again. But we're seeing this where offsides aren't given, and they carry on and give the corner.
Yeah, strange that.
You should actually, you should be a free kick. You need VAR to look at that as well. Let's have a look now. He wasn't offside. He had his foot on the halfway line, so he should really have done better. He tried to chip Ederson, didn't get the ball anywhere near high enough. and they're trying to play Sterling in down left. That's overcooked, and that's going to be a goal kick.
Just
So
take it back. Let's just go back quickly to that.
Normal time left.
Okay, good stuff. Just quickly rolling the clock back. Another great interception by Masuaku. That ball over the top for Mahrez. I mean, he's odds on to score if Masuaku doesn't get there. Probably our player of the game so far, Gnome, would you say, Masuaku?
I'd give it to him at the moment, yeah.
Done really, really well. Rio, for you as well, Masuaku been just about
absolutely. He's been excellent in defence. He's been excellent coming forwards. He looks like a completely different player to the person we watched last season. Let's put it that way.
What a renaissance he's enjoyed over the course of the last few weeks. And yes, no, just onside, I think that opportunity for 4-0 was there.
I think if you look at his head, it might have been interesting. But we've won a free kick halfway into the City half on the right-hand side, which whole line of players about 6 yards outside the box. Cresswell's on the ball.
Come on, Hammers.
So Cresswell plays the ball in. Haller wins the header, heads it across, but it ends up on a City head. Masuaku's on the ball now. Tries to play the ball out to Fornals, but neither quite on each other's wavelength, and City clear. Need to be careful here. Well played, Arthur, again. But he's given the ball away, and what a save from Fabianski. Superb, son. That should have been 2-1, but Sterling was through on goal. Fabianski not only made the save, but the ball ballooned up in the air and he caught the rebound. Well played, sir. Arthur did well to win the ball there, but got caught there in possession. That's a brilliant save from Fabianski. Didn't commit himself, and well played the pole.
We were saying, weren't we, not so long ago, Rio, that Fabianski hasn't been called upon to make a save of note just yet, but just showing the importance of staying alert as a goalkeeper. 86 minutes gone, and he's called upon, as we said, Masuaku losing the ball, De Bruyne feeding the ball through for Sterling. Sterling looking odds on to score, but Fabianski out really, really sharp there, showing how alert he'd been to smother that opportunity and save West Ham, really. Yeah,
excellent keeping. Did exactly what we needed at exactly the right stage of the game. A little bit of criticism for the goal that they scored, but they are absolutely exemplary. Top-notch keeping.
Yeah, and also being alert enough to follow up and grab the ball to make it his own on the rebound. So just over 3 minutes left to go of normal time. It's still West Ham United 1, Manchester City 1. The Hammers were ahead after 18 minutes with Michail Antonio's goal before Manchester City equalised 6 minutes after the restart from Phil Foden. West Ham do, of course, have one more substitute left to make. No, do we think we're going to see it, or do you think Moyes has now decided that this is his best 11 for eking out a point?
So that's a good ball. We'll come back to that. Mahrez is in acres of space on his own, and he's played the ball out. That's gone out, ref. Yes. Phew. There was a ball that had Mahrez in miles and miles of space. Nobody near him. He's taken the ball into the box, taken a touch, got to go past Arthur, and he's taken the ball out for a goal kick. That Arthur sort of was in the right place. Didn't need to make a challenge. Did enough. Sorry, making a change. You were saying, sorry, when all that.
Do we think that's it? Do we think Moyes has decided that maybe apart from the last few seconds, just to waste a bit of time, that's it?
Yeah, I wouldn't expect. I wouldn't expect it other to do a bit of clock running down. I think the problem with changes is that they do. Oh no. Yarmolenko's given the ball away. Sterling's got into the box, and they've got back, and that's superb again. Depending on Bonner's got back, Yarmolenko had nowhere to go, admittedly, but it was a sort of a back pass that was going absolutely nowhere. So Bonner got back, and that was good defending. But Yarmo, don't do that, mate.
Steve Page.
Yeah, when you make a change, it does sort of disrupt the shape of the side a little bit.
Yeah.
They're coming at us again now, and Foden's fouled Cresswell, and it all comes to nothing. Okay. But it's going to be we've got a minute of normal time left and a bit of stoppage. I don't think we've had the physios on at all in the game, so it'll just be subs, maybe 4 minutes. Ogbonna's done superbly well. The whole defence have got well back there.
Yeah, doing well so far. We're nearly there anyway. This is the point, Rio. We're close. We can taste it now. I mean, it does look as if anyone's going to win this game. It's more likely to be Manchester City, but of course, let's not forget. Not so long ago, we were in a very, very similar situation against Chelsea, were we not? And certain Yarmolenko broke away and scored a winning goal. Who knows? No.
A good move there, promising move there. Haller in promising position, totally failed to control it. And now they're on the attack with Sterling wide left again. Balbuena's on him. Sterling's ran it to Balbuena into traffic. Players have got back to. We need to clear it though, but we're dilly-dallying a little bit there. But 3 minutes of stoppage time, and we're 5 seconds into that now.
Okay.
Yeah, being resolute, we do need to. When we've won the ball in the penalty area, we do need to think about what we're doing with it next rather than standing on it and waiting around. Oh, ball given away to Fornals. Oh, Fornals in a good position, but he trips over and ball gets given away back to Man City. Again, that might have been promising to go forward, but a slip at the vital moment cost us.
Okay, we are into, as Gnome said, the final 3 minutes. We're 3 minutes added on. Can West Ham hang on here to eke out a point? It would be our first ever point at home against Manchester City since we moved to Stratford, having gone down by a total of 22 goals to 1.
Oh, no, referee. And he's booking Balbuena. Balbuena's won the ball there, I'm sure of it. He's gone down the right wing. And he's won the ball. There's upset. The Man City player's gone down as if hit by a sniper. Not only is it not a free kick, it's certainly not a booking. That's a ludicrous decision.
Not the first we've seen today, Rio. Are we going to hang on here, buddy? Is this another very, very promising point for West Ham today?
I wouldn't like to say we are, because between Gnome and our defence, they're causing me kind of all sorts of chaos. I'm a minute behind on the feed, and my brain is fried. So yeah, I really don't. We deserve it. We just for our first
1 minute, 15 seconds left, if that's any consolation.
Okay, good stuff. And we expect probably Rio Moyes to make that final substitution just to use up a few more seconds.
If you want to know how the TV guys are doing this, by the way, they've given man the match to Foden.
Amazing.
Because basically, I think they'd have given it to the corner flag before they'd work on giving it to a West Ham player.
Well, that's nonsense, surely. I mean, he scored the goal, but we haven't
made a difference for them. But
we haven't mentioned him, have we, in dispatches at any point during the second half, bar the goal? I don't think Sterling's been the main threat, hasn't he?
Yeah, I did, because I said he's making the runs that they weren't making in the first half. But there have been some towering performances in the West Ham defence. And if you're telling me that as a cross comes in, but again, Ogbonna heads away, Fornals look to bring it out and doesn't quite fall for him. We've got 20 seconds left according to the clock, and we're on the back foot at the moment, but just need to keep it tight here, keep it tight. Oh, no. Mahrez went down the left-hand side, got a shot in. Fabianski, I think, pushed it onto the post. Man City corner, and we've got, it's Fabianski is saved that, but well, we're now in added time on added time, which I can't see why that's been added on, but ball chipped in and headed clear by Rice.
Come on, referee.
That is it. 1-1. Well played, West Ham. Had to battle for it, but well worth the point, I thought. And well played. I'm well happy with that. Fabianski
Final score from the London Olympic Stadium in Stratford. It's West Ham United 1, Manchester City 1. Another superb performance. Backs to the wall, maybe, but they've done a superb job out there today, David Moyes Hammers. And yet again, we've taken a result from a game we perhaps might not have expected to do so. And that's largely down to the fact that Michail Antonio scored the opening goal of the game after 18 minutes before Phil Foden rescued a point for Manchester City 6 minutes after the restart. I think our man of the match is probably, I think we're quite unanimous. It looks like Arthur Masuaku for us. But do let us know on the live chat who you think was West Ham's best player if you happen to disagree. Regardless, it's another superb point for West Ham, Rio. We've done a job. You know, we sort of speculated before the game that we felt we might be able to take something here. As I said, it's been a backs to the wall performance. The last 4 games have ended, or last 5 games, sorry. I think the aggregate score we said before the start was 22 for Man City, 1 for West Ham. 1 each today. Great point, great performance from West Ham.
Yeah, before the game, you would have taken that.
Absolutely.
I actually come away a little bit disappointed that we didn't take a little bit more, to be honest. That first half, after kind of a very slow and ponderous and careful opening 15, 20 minutes, we grew into that half. We looked much the better side and we offered a lot going forward. Obviously, they're going to regroup at the half-time break and come at us, which they did. Foden caused a little bit of problem in between the gaps, as we saw. The goal could have been prevented. He found that little bit of space in between Balbay and Ogbonna. I think Fabianski could have done a little bit better. But as you say, after the continuous thrashings we've had against these lot for the last 5 years, that is a fantastic point. You've got to look at their squad. I think they've spent £1 billion almost in the Pep era.
10 minutes.
In the last 10 minutes, yeah.
Well, yeah, ever since I think they've signed 2 defenders since the final whistle's blown. But yeah, no, they spent all that money.
To Craig Dawson, that's the...
Yeah. And what have they got to show for it, really? Because they wasn't better than us today.
Well, I mean, saying that, Rio, they haven't been better than us. According to the league table all season, because we remain above Manchester City in the table. West Ham, that point lifting us to 8 points. Man City also on 8 points, but with an inferior goal difference. They've had the goal difference of 0, and we have a +4 goal difference after 6 games against these teams. What is going on at West Ham this season? Unbelievable.
Madness, really, madness. But I'll take it. We were, excuse me, we were discussing this before the game, and you know what the possibilities were, and whether or not could we win, and were we getting a little bit too cocky, having had good results, and having sort of got our way back into the game last week, and we were saying that, City is still Man City. They're still a decent team, even if they're not currently at their best. Do you want to come back to me? Because we've got Declan Rice coming on the box now, and I'll paraphrase him.
Sure. Myself and Rio can keep the fire burning, as it were, for the next couple of minutes. Rio, 8 points from 4 games against Wolves, Leicester, Tottenham and Manchester City. Is there a single West Ham fan, if you had offered that to them a month ago, would have said no, or not even bitten your hand off at the prospect?
Yeah, no, if I could hide my arms behind my back so everyone could see, yeah, they've been chewed off by everybody. We would have taken that without a doubt. And as people just sent the message through, that in those games last season, we accrued exactly 0 points.
Yep.
You have to be delighted against 2 teams in Leicester and Wolves, European competition qualifiers. Manchester City, long-term European qualifiers, spent fortunes. Tottenham, not too long ago, Champions League finalists, pretenders to a league title, according to their fans. And we've had 8 points. We've looked incredibly comfortable in the first 2 games. We've shown bottle, we've shown discipline, we've shown defensive tactics, defensive stability, defensive skill that you don't associate with West Ham side. You have to be proud of what we've done and what we've achieved in these last 4 games.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? Because you could have said after the Wolves game, it's an anomaly. It's just a one-off. It's not going to happen again. Maybe even after Leicester, you could have said, well, Leicester had a great start, perhaps took their foot off the pedal, saw it was West Ham, and we sort of took them by surprise. But hang on a minute, we've now got to Spurs, and we've picked up a point now. We've now held Manchester City for the first time since since we moved to Stratford. This is not luck. This is 4 very, very good results now. And how good can this West Ham team be? We obviously don't want to get ahead of ourselves. We don't want to come over all Spursy and predict, top 7, top 8 finishes. But is that not a real possibility now, given what we've seen in the last few weeks?
Well, absolutely. You say it's not a fluke. It's the result of a lot of hard work on a training ground. It's a result of a managerial and coaching setup who have drilled us defensively incredibly well.
Yeah.
We haven't actually got a game plan now. We actually have a system, and it works. We don't play off the front foot necessarily like we used to do in the old days. We used to go all out attack, gung ho, and we used to get a few excellent results, but we used to be incredibly fragile at the back. Barring those 15 minutes against Tottenham last week, in the opening 15 minutes, the last 4 games, we've been drilled defensively incredibly well. We look solid. We look tight. We look like an absolute unit and a half. As a team, we've got togetherness. We've got a structure that works for us, and the dividends are paying off. Now, if Mr. Moyes had a certain amount of transfer funds, I know we're going back over old ground here.
Yeah, no, but it's a legitimate point, I think.
Yeah, if he was given the funds that he needs and the players that he wanted to bring in, how good could we be? We could be. I'd be happy this season if we finished top half. I think I'd be more than delighted.
Yeah. Give
the man time to grow this squad and develop his team, and in the manner that he wants, have the players and the personnel that he wants around him. What he achieved at Everton isn't beyond the realms of possibility here.
Well, it's as I said, you could have looked at the first couple and said it was a bit of luck and just the odd. It's been a very strange season, isn't it? And it's been strange since Project Restart began back in June. Some very odd results, but you don't get 4, as we said there. You don't get 4 odd results in a row. So, in just a minute, we're going to have a look at the KUMB Forum match thread just to see what people are saying over there. Do let us know if you're on the live chat. Thank you, of course, for joining us today. Do let us know what you felt about the game today and what you think about this point that we're discussing now about, how good can this West Ham team be? As I said, we don't want to get ahead of ourselves. We don't want to come over all Spursy and predict, a top 8 finish. But, it does just sort of make you wonder if, after the last 4 results against some very good teams, that West Ham perhaps might be looking good for, at the very least, a top half finish. But let us know what you think. Before we take a look at the match thread, I'm just going to run over some stats from today's game, just to see how well the Hammers fared in those. Possession-wise, unexpectedly, Manchester City enjoyed 70% of possession, whereas West Ham United saw only 30% of the ball during the game. Shots-wise, Manchester City conjured up 14 efforts at goal, West Ham just the 6. On target, Manchester City enjoyed 7 to West Ham's 2, one of which was, of course, the goal from Michail Antonio. Corners, Man City had 10 corners to West Ham's 2, and West Ham committed 14 fouls to Manchester City's 6. So statistically, you could pretty much say that Manchester City enjoyed the better of the game. But once again, as we say time and time again, the only stat that counts is the one in that goal scored tally. And as far as that went today, it was 1 each, and West Ham have earned a very, very important point. Rio, I think Gnome's still watching Declan Rice there, so we'll come back to him.
No, he's finished.
Okay, well, we'll come to that in just a second. But just one thing I want to touch on, Rio. Rob Green has just said that Manchester City's, Rob Green, our former goalkeeper, of course, has just said that Manchester City's air of invincibility has disappeared. What do you make of that? Do you think that's fair, or do you think that's a little bit unfair on West Ham and, a superb performance?
No, I think it's completely valid, to be honest. The people, members of the forum said in the aftermath of the Tottenham game, there is no reason to be fearful of this Manchester City side anymore.
Yeah.
Pep's lost his air of kind of dominance and
Mm-hmm.
entitlement. Despite all the money they've spent, they're a little bit disjointed at the back. You know, they've got a wealth of attacking talent, but take out Cancelo at that back four today. I wasn't impressed with anyone really there. We didn't occupy them all game, but when we did, they was under pressure. Yeah, you can spend as much money as you want, but you can't build a decent side that way sometimes, you know. He spent, was it £400 million just on defenders?
Madness.
And he still doesn't know who his best lineup is at the back.
Yeah.
No?
Do you think that's a case of, like, you know, when we moved from BBC One, BBC Two, and ITV and Channel 4 to satellite TV, and you've just got an absolute wealth of options. You don't know, you've got too much to choose from.
Yeah. And every time he sees a little chink in the armour, he doesn't sit there and coach them into a kind of into a unit as we've done.
Yeah.
He goes, oh no, I'll ask the owners for another 50 million quid. We'll throw something else, another left back, another centre half. You know, he's a great coach in terms of getting sides to win, playing attacking football.
Yeah.
But defensively, there's massive question marks on the way that Pep goes about things. You know, he doesn't coach defenders. He buys them, throws them at a dartboard, and one of them sticks. He thinks, job done, game over. Let's get another one, see if he sticks as well. Yeah, it's a flat track bully for me. That Barca side, I could have coached to win the Liga.
Yeah.
That Bayern Munich side, no one could have coached to win Bundesliga. No. The money he's had at City, he was bound to have some kind of a success. And he's done very well. They're a great attacking unit. But defensively, they're a shambles. If you're spending 40 million quid on Nathan Ake, who we've routinely kind of made to look an idiot over, and this is from a West Ham point of view, we've made him look a bit of an idiot over the last 2 or 3 seasons, and you think he's the answer to your defensive woes? You need to look at yourself in a mirror a bit more, Pep, you know?
Yeah. Okay, good stuff. I'll come back to you in just a second, Rio. We'll look at the match thread in just a minute. Before we do that, let's go over to Gnome, who's been watching the TV while we've been chatting. Declan Rice has been on to talk about another really good result for West Ham. Gnome, what did the skipper have to say?
Much as you'd expect. He thought we were excellent in the first half. He admitted that half time when they came in, he said something. Excuse me. He said something about being feeling heavy-legged when they sat down at half time. They knew they were going to have to work hard in the second half, but he said they did, and he was very impressed with the defensive setup. Particular praise he gave to Souček. Says that having Souček means that I don't have to do quite so much running. And but very pleased with the point and very pleased with the work, right?
Okay. Do you actually know? I see Souček's on now. Do you want to just listen out to what he's saying, and then we'll come back to both in a minute?
Well, that was Foden we've just had on. I don't know what you're watching. I haven't seen Souček.
Oh, okay. Maybe
we've just had Foden on, who.
Okay.
Yeah, they've just had Foden on, who's bemoaning, saying, "Oh, we need to be more clinical in front of goal." But clear-cut chances weren't many for them. Yeah, and when he says that, it makes it sound like they had hit the bar, hit the post. Fabianski saving. 2 saves really Fabianski made, and but yeah, much as you'd expect a Man City, they're disappointed that they didn't get the 3 points. I'll admit, I agree with Rio. I felt slightly sort of hard done by that we didn't get more out of it. Not saying that we were sort of dominating and should have had loads of chances and all that, but it's I guess it's a measure of the progress. Excuse me. In the last 12 months, that we sit there and we think, well, we've dropped a couple of points there. Where 12 months ago, we we get a point, we'd be saying, oh, biting your hand off for a point against Manchester City. You know, we're playing them at the ideal time, I think, to get something out of the game. But yeah, as I say, you can't knock the work rate. You know that. Yeah, we should have held on the ball a bit better in midfield when we did have it coming out, particularly second half.
Yes,
but you know, no, I'm not going to. We're getting into really churlish territory if we start talking about that. And it's a good point. I think we've earned that point. We've worked hard. All too often in the past, we might have rolled over at 1-1. And you know, especially it was fairly early in the second half, wasn't it?
Yeah, only
they've got Guardiola on now, so
yeah.
Go somewhere else. Yeah, we've got Guardiola on now, so if you want to go somewhere else, and I'll come back to you with his thoughts.
Good stuff. Well, we're going to take a look at the live chat on YouTube to see what people are saying in response to what we've witnessed this afternoon. Was West Ham draw 1-1 with Manchester City. And then right after I've done that, we're going to go to Rio, who's been very patiently waiting and collating lots of opinions from the KUMB Forum match thread. But yeah, everyone's really, really happy. I think Mark English says 8 points from 4 hard fixtures. Excellent. Richard Van says a hard-earned, well-deserved point. Great performance, lads. Steve Page says it's a good point. Talking about man of the match, Richard Van agrees with the team here. Arthur Masuaku stand out really. Simon Osborne says, I'm happy with that in response to the result. GSB out says, you can see why Haller doesn't start. Lazy and slow. Yarmolenko is also slow, but at least he works hard. Simon Osborne once again says, well done, Davy Moyes. Well done to the players. A real good team performance. And One Love Warrior says, a great game from the West Ham lads. A good point to take from Manchester City. Steve Palmer. Steve says, I was nervous before the game, but we deserved a point. No luck involved at all. We earned that. And Steve Spraggs, the Cockney Hammer, says, I'm well happy with that point. I would have taken that before the game started. But what was Fornals doing for that free kick, though? Soufal. Soufal, I've just done it, haven't I? Koufal. He has written an S, though, to be fair. Koufal looks a great player. Steve Spraggs says, where is Pinky? We've given him the afternoon off, Steve, today, so he'll be back, preferably, possibly. We expect him back next week anyway. So it's just the three of us today. Eamon Green says, how on earth was Foden made man of the match? I can't stand Glenn Hoddle either. Good result, a great result for us. And W.A. Habington says, I thought we looked shakiest when Sterling was making his runs late on in the game. Still, we just about managed to snuff out the threat with the help of an excellent save from Fabianski. It's one of those games, Rio, wasn't it, where sort of everyone came in when needed. Arthur made some great interceptions. Fabianski didn't have a lot to do, but did well when he was, called upon to do so. The goal from Michail Antonio. Good stuff from West Ham. What's the view on the KUMB Forum match thread, buddy?
Understandably, it matches the kind of chat on the YouTube. There's a lot of pride in our performance today.
Yep.
I'll just put, well played West Ham. Defence and keeper great today. Needed more from the attackers, but overall got to be happy with that. Wolf 359, sorry. Respect the point. Punk Rock Hammer. 8 points more than I thought we'd have by this point in the season.
Yeah.
We're looking pretty impressive. I can't wait until we play the likes of Fulham and West Brom. The only thing I'd add to that isn't that when we normally drop our performance, we play at a level of the opposition.
Yeah, we've been there before, haven't we?
Yeah. Just trying to find a couple of the others there lined up. There we go. To kind of counter this, Clucking Bells put, if last week was the draw that felt like a win, today was the win that felt like a loss. That was the worst refereeing performance I've seen for a couple of seasons. What was Taylor doing with the City players at the start of the second half? Explain why he hadn't given them a penalty or sent them a couple of players off. There really needs to be a mechanism where clubs can appeal against this kind of one-sided refereeing so that these idiots are sent back to Sunday League where they belong. Mm-hmm. As for the rest of the game, it's pretty inevitable that Antonio was going to get injured, and I suspect he'll be out for the next few games, which will stop us kicking on after we play the bin dippers. Fornals and Bowen run themselves ragged as usual, and man of the match for me was a toss-up between Arthur, Rice and Souček, although everyone in the starting 11 played well. Yeah. The less said about the subs, the better. Haller offers next to nothing, and Yarmolenko was just flat out awful. And then he cost us the game at the end. And just to finish off here.
Sorry, Rio, did you take that as a dig at the substitutes themselves, or at the manager for bringing them on? That
Um,
last point.
I'd actually take it as dig of the subs themselves.
Right. Yeah. Well, fair enough, I guess.
Both,
Yeah.
to be honest.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of consternation about why when Antonio went off injured, he didn't bring Hilaire on straight away for him. He brought on Yarmolenko.
Yeah. Yeah. It was an odd one, that wasn't it?
Then also when Bowen went off, there was a bit of debate about, are we missing out in his industry and his work rate? Are we leaving ourselves exposed down the right-hand side a bit more?
Mm-hmm.
But he's paid to make the decisions. We're not. And you can't
Got it
deny
right,
that
hasn't he, today?
after the last 4 games, he's doing exactly the right thing.
Yep. Yep.
Excuse me. Just Peaches has put, brilliant performance against a team who are real quality. Masuaku is exceptional. The team is so well set up and hard to beat. The only concern was Yarmolenko and Hello looked rusty and well off the pace. I can understand why Moyes brought Yarmolenko on before Hello, as our system needs athletes, and Hello doesn't have the running yet. It was hard for him as he's very isolated, but hopefully he'll get some more support against teams who don't have the quality and threat of City and Liverpool next week. Also, someone's put, I'm beginning to enjoy a source under Moyes, which I think is a real indicator of he's turned our support round, hasn't he? He was the person that nobody wanted.
Absolutely.
And now everyone's on board with what he's doing and what he's achieving over the last, particularly over the last 4 games. But since Project Restart, he has turned his club around. Now, we was on the verge of going down really badly last season. Look at us now. We stayed up with a bit of comfort. We're well drilled defensively. We're on the verge of achieving something here. We just need to let him have the funds and the personnel he needs to back himself.
Yes, and of course, as Pinky pointed out on last week's stream, he's out of contract still at the end of the season. No new contracts in sight. I'm just seeing Moyes being interviewed on my screen. I can't unfortunately hear what he's saying because I've got the sound turned down.
He hasn't come up on mine yet, so you obviously got a different type of stream.
Yeah, it looks like
was on a few seconds.
There's also a magnificent photo from Boo Boo on the forum of 4 nails free in the wall for the free kick, which if you get a chance to look at it, it is superb.
Okay, I'll have a look at that in a minute. No, thanks, Rio. No, as I said, I've got David Moyes here. I've not seen Pep Guardiola yet, so it looks like we're looking at different channels because you've just been listening to the comments from the Manchester City manager. What did he have to say, buddy?
Yeah, you'd have thought that it would have cost him money to actually issue any praise to West Ham. The interviewer set him up to say, West Ham played well. Time and time again, and he said, "Well, no, it's every team in the Premier League is difficult to play against, and it was a really sort of miserable. We had a lot of the possession, and we should have scored goals, and the Aguero substitution seemed to be, he say it was an injury, and everything else was tactical." We had chances, and Sterling and Mahrez should have scored, and nothing about I kept teeing him up to say, well, West Ham defended well, but he simply wasn't going to give any sort of praise at all. Miserable Santa. One bit of news:
a sign gnome of a manager under pressure. Would you say?
£12.50. Sorry,
I was saying a sign there of a manager under pressure. Would you say?
Insofar as you're going to be under pressure at Man City, I suppose a little bit frustrated. I think more than pressure as such. But I haven't seen Moyes, and he hasn't come out for BT. By the looks of things, though, they're not actually going to bother interviewing him. So we know our place, don't we? Ludicrous.
Okay, not to worry. We'll have to listen.
I've seen that they're actually going to finish the program without interviewing Moyes.
Amazing.
We'd love to hear from David Moyes. Can't hear what he has to say, and you will hear from. So I've got the subtitles on. So the subtitle. Oh, it's going to be on BT Score. So he will come up in a minute on the other program. So they're not just ignoring us. So I'll forgive them for that. But I was about to say that my beloved normally sticks a quid or two on the results that preview Percy forecasts. Not the score, mind, the result. And so I think she just sent me a thing that says she's won £12.50.
Oh,
So,
happy days.
yeah.
Happy
So,
days.
Percy will be after his share of that, no doubt, when I next see him. So,
Yes.
do you want to send it over to me, Pet, and I'll pass it on.
No doubt his assistant will be enjoying a good night tonight.
So carry on there. I'll keep
Percy
an eye
then.
out for David Moores on this program now.
Okay, we'll see what Moyes has got to say. I mean, I'm just judging by his facial expressions in the interview I was watching silently, and he seemed to be a fairly happy manager, as one would expect, given that he's just extended West Ham United's unbeaten run to 4 games, and that coming against Wolves, Leicester, Tottenham, and Manchester City. Can we do it next week, Rio? Can we? Okay, so I mean, we've pulled off a good result today. Can we go to Anfield? I'm not suggesting we're going to repeat 2016 and win up there again, but could we, extend this unbeaten run even further?
It isn't beyond the realms of belief, is it? You've got to look at that Liverpool side, and they've got exactly the same kind of issues that City have at the moment.
Yeah,
they are fantastic going forward. They've got a great midfield. At the back, they've lost Van Dijk. They've got no. How do we put it? They haven't got Alisson in goal. They've got someone who used to play a few games for us. And as much as we all loved him, because he was a massively fun personality to be around.
Yep.
And his moments as a quality keeper for us.
Yep.
We all loved the moment in that penalty shoot against Everton where he just threw his clubs off nonchalantly and slotted home a penalty. But let's put it this way. Adrian isn't a patch on Alisson. He's susceptible. If we could get him, we could get a shaky Liverpool defence. Why not? I know we've got an awful record at Anfield, but why not? Why the hell not? If we're well drilled, as we are today defensively, let's go up there. Let's set up exactly the way we have been the last 4 games. Hit on the break, counter them, get at them. Let's cause a few problems. Let's go up there, give it a go. Playing them very much in the same manner as we have done the last 4 games. Let's scare them a bit, It's been a weird old season. Let's continue that.
I suppose that's the thing now, isn't it? West Ham, before perhaps teams didn't feel threatened. If we sat back, they knew that we didn't possibly quite have the quality to cause them problems. But we certainly do now. I mean, I guess we're praying that Antonio's going to be okay. But you've got players like Bowen and Fornals. Sorry, no.
I was about to raise the point on Antonio. They just showed sort of replays of just before he went off, which seemed to be indicating that it might be a tight hamstring again.
Right. Which is the injury we all feared, of course.
Yeah. He did indicate that he wanted to come off beforehand. He had his hand up, etc. Right. Which is a shame because I just hope they can get him fit for next week. On the grounds that the prospect of Antonio against Gomez is one I was quite looking forward to.
Yeah, I mean, do you fancy
Gomez
it? No, I mean, we don't want to come over all Spursy, as I've said.
Yeah,
but
you
think we can go there and do something?
Yeah, I think we can. I think home advantage is not what it was. You haven't got however many thousand people out in the Kop screaming penalty every time the ball goes into the penalty area. And it's they're genuinely sort of baffled when they don't get penalties now. Because we've had referees caving into it, which is what made all that demanding answers from the Premier League thing all the more annoying last week. I mean, Van Dijk, it was a shocking challenge. Probably deserved the red card for recklessness that it didn't. Fair enough. But Van Dijk's contribution to that game last week was about 3 fouls all in the centre circle. One of which injured Rodriguez. It's like, how dare one of our players be injured? It's exactly a new tactic, is it? You should know. So, but I don't see Liverpool as any more invincible than Man City are at the moment. They're doing that particularly well. You know.
Okay. I mean, I guess
Let's give us an honest referee.
Yeah.
And give us an honest referee level playing field.
Okay. I mean, I guess that is a sign, isn't it? Of we were talking about just how good West Ham are now, and I guess that is a sign that we as those long-suffering supporters have got a little bit of renewed faith. For us to sit here and discuss the possibility of going to Anfield and being able to give them a game, it's not something we've been able to do for the last. Well, I mean, you could go back many, many years, but certainly since we moved to Stratford, we've not really been in a position to do that. And even though we have, I mean, last year or earlier this year, whenever it was, we went up there and we only lost 3-2, didn't we? But I guess that's a really encouraging sign, isn't it? It's good to hear from, I guess, long in the tooth fans like us that we feel we can challenge these clubs now, because it's so depressing, isn't it, when you look at the Premier League.
We've got David Moyes now, so go back to him in a minute.
Okay, mate. Just saying, Rio, it's so depressing, isn't it, at the start of the season when you look at a Premier League fixture list and you're already crossing off fixtures that you haven't got a chance in. It's not the case now, or at least that we don't feel that's the case now after what we've seen already this season.
No, I mean, and despite all the stuff that goes on off the pitch, on the pitch we look like a unit. We look like someone who's not going to be rolled over by every team coming to us. We've got a bit of belief, we've got a backbone, we've got a game plan, We look tactically astute, and it's very rare that I've ever said that about West Ham team, and I'm 48. We actually look like we know what we're doing. We've got a squad of players, but it's not a massive squad, but the players at our disposal are more than decent, I mean, if we miss Antonio next week, it's a massive loss because his bullish nature is a handful any central defender.
Yeah.
But on the bench, we've got a £45 million in Sebastian Haller, who must be chomping at the bit to try and prove a point. We've got Andrei Yarmolenko who come and do a job. And yes, he's got his deficiencies, but he's good enough to play for over 100 times for Ukraine and score 30-odd international goals.
Yep.
You've got a £25 million potential player inside Benrahma who could come into the side.
Well, this is something I was going to touch on. I mean, we've not even mentioned Benrahma yet, have we? Not included in the squad today. David Moyes felt he needs to introduce him slowly, which I think is a pretty good policy. And we've not even seen him yet, have we? And he's an exceptional player by all accounts. So, if given the choice, I mean, let's assume for the benefit of this discussion that Antonio's not going to be fit. And, I guess if that's a tight hamstring, it's pretty unlikely, probably looking at 2 to 3 weeks out maybe. But who are you going to bring in? Do you bring Haller in? I mean, I know today you felt that we should have put Haller in first of all, but you'd rather bring Haller than perhaps move Bowen up front and bring someone else in there, out wide. Yeah,
no, for me, it's very much Haller, particularly away from home.
Yeah.
I just think that if you move Bowen centrally, you do lose that industry, you lose that work rate.
Agreed.
You lose that partnership with Kufel down the right-hand side, which has been so productive since Kufel came to the club.
Totally.
What Haller can also bring is, because we're playing away from home, we're on the back foot. We've got the players in the middle in terms of Fornals, Bowen, who can kind of exploit space and put balls in behind the defence for Haller to run onto. We've also got the likes of Lanzini. You've got the likes of Benrahma, as we said, who could potentially come from the bench if Fornals and Bowen are having the joy that we'd hope they get.
Mm-hmm.
They've got technical ability and pace to kind of hurt defenders.
Yeah.
And in tandem with Haller, who he's not the most physical striker, but he's still a bit of a lump.
Mm-hmm.
He can hold the ball up, probably not as well and as accomplishedly as Mikel Antonio does.
Yeah.
But he still offers that kind of threat. I just think a like-for-like replacement, it just means you can't play the kind of longer balls up as we have been doing the last few days and hoping that it sticks.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to hope that we can get in behind defensive, play them over the top a little bit, get defenders on the back foot. As Gnome said about Joe Gomez, he isn't the most imposing player, is he? they've got problems with defence, Liverpool. I think isn't Matip out for a little bit of time as well? Not only Van Dijk. So in the centre of defence, they've got a few problems. I think Fabinho played in the midweek.
Right.
Surely we can try and exploit that, whoever we have at our disposal.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, I think Haller would be the ideal replacement for Antonio.
Okay, good stuff. Well, let's come back to Liverpool in a little while if we get the chance before we go off there. Gnome has been listening to David Moyes' interview on BT Sports. I'm guessing the manager has finished now. Gnome, what did David Moyes have to say? And is there any news on that Antonio injury?
Well, we'll deal with the Antonio news first.
Okay.
He felt a tightness there, and having had a few bits of tightness with it recently, I'm guessing he's kind of under instructions if it feels iffy to tell them so they can rest it up. He doesn't think it's too serious. He's hoping it's just a spot of cramping on the muscle, but he does seem. Whether he's playing that down for tactical reasons or whatever.
Yeah.
But he didn't seem too concerned about it. So
okay. Good news.
Obviously they'll be getting to work on that over the next few days. The rest of the interview overall, very, very pleased with the performance. He said that this is the best he'd felt going into a game against Man City for a long, long while. And he said, after about 5-10 minutes, he said, you realise you're kidding yourself on a little bit, but he said, fair play. He said, everybody stuck to their tasks. It was a good, hard-working performance.
Yep.
And praise for everybody pretty much there. He's trying to build up a young, energetic team. Particular praise for Rice and Souček in the middle.
Yeah,
he said they complement each other, and he says that's what he's got in the squad. There, the squad that complements each other. And I'm paraphrasing a bit. I'm not using exact words here, but there is a team there, if you like, is what he was trying to get over.
Yeah.
Which is all fair comment. So, hopefully Antonio not as bad as we think, and he said he was very happy with the point. But he did think we were worth it, which I think is fair comment.
Okay. No complaints there, really. So, Mandy, there you go. You were asking about the situation with Antonio. So, confirmation from the manager, from David Moyes there, that Antonio was removed more as a precaution than for any apparent injury. So, fingers crossed we can get him back for Liverpool next week, because I'm
guessing that the comment that I think Antonio's been told to not to risk it if he feels a tightness there. I think that's my speculation, really.
Okay.
But clearly he does have hamstring issues, and they need to shepherd that a bit. I don't want to put words into his mouth here.
We do know, of course, that David Moyes was quite keen to bring Josh King in from Bournemouth as backup for Antonio. It didn't materialise because we bought another player, Said Benrahma, who wasn't involved in the squad today. But we've looked at all the positives. I suppose, we've got to look also at the negatives. The fact that the squad is still a little bit unbalanced, and you kind of, again, you look at the bench today, and you think, we perhaps could have done with a little bit of shoring up. Gnome in the midfield areas, and I think Moyes was looking around, in those last 10 minutes where probably ideally you would have wanted to bring on a fresh pair of legs, and the only pair of legs he had, in anywhere in those positions was Mark Noble. And of course, we all expressed our concerns about potentially bringing Mark on at the age he is and at the stage of the career he is. Stage of his career that he's at, against a team that plays such fast, flowing, fluid football as Manchester City. So, you're sort of looking at that, and you're looking at our results, and I'm kind of reminded of West Ham teams in the past here, whereas, you've got such a great opportunity to push on. We've got a decent squad. David Moyes, I think we all agree, is working, miracles with what he's got, but, Gnome, it still could be so much better, couldn't it?
Yeah, what we've got a good team, but we haven't got a good squad. You've got pretty much, we were unchanged again at the start today. And you could tinker with the defence, maybe Diop in for Balbuena, but pretty much that's your starting 11.
Yeah.
You know, we're only. I mean, we're talking now about, you know, is Antonio fit for next week? We're only a pinged hamstring from not being able to play that way, just the way we've been playing. Because Haller is a different type of striker, and you know, whereas Antonio will bust the gut to give you an out, Haller is more of the target man that you ping the ball at, and he holds it up and brings other people in, which is not the way we're playing at the moment. So the issue is squad depth, which it has been for quite some time. You know, if we're going to play, if that's going to, we're going to have a team that plays as that, in that way, as a tactical, as a general tactical setup. You know, you're going to need replacements for the people who you know, will miss out from time to time.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got we mentioned Kufel was given quite a rough time out on his side today.
Yeah.
He's only 3 bookings away from being suspended. He's picked up 2 bookings in his 3 games now, which excuse me. So it might not necessarily be injuries, for example, that causes. Okay, Fredericks is and can come in there, perhaps, but you've got to factor in all these things. You've got to have a decent backup. We've got the players we've got aren't bad players in backup. Yarmolenko's good. Lanzini showed what he can do last week.
Yeah, but they're all forward players, aren't they?
They're all they're all first team players if you set up differently.
Yeah,
and we're not doing that at the moment. And you know, yes, there are going to be times you're going to want to change the way you play, which is fine to have them there. Then you might swap things around that way. But you know, if you want to carry on playing the same way, you know, you're going to need to be able to have those replacements in. So, so it's kind of a legacy of transfer windows of the past that let us down.
We've
so
seen.
Of course, we're not all that far away from the next one, really, because
this is a point I wanted to come on to, actually, Gnome, because sorry to interrupt there, but I was going to say, do we think that David Sullivan's maybe taking that gamble and saying, well, you know, from the closure of the last one to the next one in January, there's only a total of 12 games. We've had one now, of course, already, so that's only 11 now. Do you think sort of he's maybe, you know, sort of keeping a few bob aside for potentially, you know, investing then, or do you think it's going to be the classic case at West Ham of not spending unless we absolutely have to?
Probably a bit of both. I mean, obviously the transfer window closing when it did, it was the end of September plus the extra couple of weeks for domestic transfers. Yeah, I mean, because it's an unusual situation. You know, there perhaps wasn't the time imperative that we had before to get players in at the end of the window. You might have been, you know, whereas, you know, if the window closed at the end of August or whenever it usually shuts, you know, it's a long period through at Christmas if you're not winning games.
Yeah.
Whereas, I mean, the window's kind of closed just as we begin to find our feet a little bit, and so, you know, with it being such a short gap to the next one, there is that. Well, yeah, we can. Yeah, we haven't got 20 games to worry about. We've only got 15 or whatever the figures are. I mean, I'm not counting them, but so yeah, there is an element of that, and it would be. It'd be unbelievable if that hadn't been taken into account.
Yeah.
But the next window is going to be interesting because you'll just need to see, if we sign anyone, or if, as has happened at West Ham in the past, you get we're doing well enough. Yeah, we're in a decent position. We can carry on with that squad.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, which happened to 86, and or it's a case of, well, you know,
this is the squad, but we need to shore it up in certain areas. Let's do it then, and then we'll find out who's wearing the trousers, so to speak.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Good stuff. Thanks, Gnome. Rio, your view on that? Do you think that, David Sullivan's sitting there thinking, oh well, this is working out really well. I don't have to spend anything in January now, or do you think perhaps David Moyes is still banging on his door day in, day out and saying, look, we seem to have got the front line sorted out now. We're certainly scoring goals, but we're still conceding them and we're still short at the back.
I think David Moyes is probably on his door every single day going, where our deficiencies are, where a left back short, where a central defensive midfielder short, where a backup striker or two short. Moyes knows that where at least 3 or 4 players have been potentially moving into the top 7, top 8. Sullivan will be sitting there thinking, as you say, rubbing his hands together. The £20 million that we didn't have initially at the start of the window, which materialised, hasn't got spent still yet because the Benrahma fee is only £5 million, wasn't it?
Yep.
That's still down the back of the sofa at Sullivan Towers. And I don't think you'll want to remove it from the back of the sofa because there's no interest rates in the banks anymore, is there? It's safer down there than anywhere else for him. Also, in the current climate, with no ticket money coming in, a lack of merchandise, hospitality money coming in, we've seen what's been going on behind the scenes.
Yeah,
whole club cash via cash refund option available to us as season ticket holders. Money's tight, and apparently money's tight for Mr. Sullivan, the billionaire. I don't expect us to spend very big in the January window at all.
Okay.
Now, January window's always a minefield, isn't it? We struck lucky last year with Souček and Bowen. But how many times have we spent in January and it's been an absolute mitigating disaster?
Yeah.
I'd say out of the 10 years that our current ownership have been involved, I'd say at least 8 of those 10 January windows, possibly 9, have been pretty much abysmal.
But is it a different story now that David Moyes is here? Because, we can only speculate on what goes on in those private discussions between David Sullivan and David Moyes. And the evidence appears to suggest so far that Sullivan is listening to Moyes in so much that, he's not taking these huge punts. Of course, we can all say Benrahma is probably a chairman's choice, given that David Moyes was quite keen to enhance his defensive options. But, looking at the players David Moyes has brought in, going back to last January, Souček and Bowen absolutely turned the season around. Kufal, Dawson is obviously just a backup. We're not going to see a lot, but Kufal, another, he's come straight into the team and he's kept his place. Even now, after perhaps 2 or 3 games, we're looking at Kufal and assuming he's a first team regular going forward. So I guess my question really is should we not all just be really trusting now in David Moyes? Because obviously there was the first time around they spent the money on Hugill, which was a completely strange sign, just didn't pay off, and just there was no real sense behind it. But since he's come back the second time, I don't think he's put a foot wrong, has he, in the transfer market?
No, definitely not. And you'd hope that Sullivan has seen sense and decided to hand over all transfer activity to a man who spent his whole life in football and has got a proven track record.
Yeah, will he?
But I think the Kufal signing was, as good as it looks, was more out of necessity than planning, wasn't it? If Fredericks hadn't got injured, would we have brought him in? I've got my huge doubts.
I agree with you. I think it's questionable whether we would or not.
And Benrahma, it looks a great player. What I've seen of him at Brentford.
But where does he fit in?
Exactly, Mr. We got 8 wingers. has brought in another winger after selling a winger.
Yeah.
I definitely don't think that was a Moyes signing. I think, despite the fact the chairman says, "Oh, he's washing his hands of the whole transfer situation," and he's interviewing Talksport saying, "I could bring in X amount of players tomorrow, but the manager doesn't want them.
Yeah.
I won't do that."
Mm.
I think he has done that. I think it's another vanity signing.
Yeah.
I hope to be proven wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think the guy, what I've seen of him at championship level, looks amazing. He's an entertainer. He gets people off their seat. He excites people.
Yeah.
We don't need excitement all the time. What we need at times are people who at the back who are going to put their lives on the line to defend the goal.
Mm-hmm.
We need people in the centre of midfield who are going to run their nuts off, because that's what we need. We haven't got that kind of player.
Yeah.
You know, he's the right player at the wrong time.
Okay.
And I just hope that David Moyes does use him as he sees fit, rather than playing him because he's getting pressure from above.
Yeah. Okay. No, what's your view on the Benrahma situation before we move on? Do you agree with Rio that it looks very much like a Sullivan vanity signing?
Yeah, given that car crash of an interview that he had with Jim White, and his comment was, well, we sold Dean Garner because we needed strengthening in different areas, and et cetera, and we already had 8 wingers, was the notorious comment. It did seem a strange signing to make. It's maybe Jim White could ask him that question at some stage, although I wouldn't expect anything too deep. I mean, I know Talksport is kind of tabloid radio, and nobody's expecting Woodward and Bernstein, but a slightly more testing question, other than how wonderful are you being today, David, wouldn't go amiss. Let's put it that way, or at least be interviewed by somebody who would ask proper questions. But odd signing. I mean, looks a good player, and don't see how he'd fit in at the moment. Yeah. But as we've said, we're only one hamstring ping away from having to completely rejig the team. So, if we are going to start playing a different way, or need to change things around, then I mean, hopefully fit in, and hopefully he's used wisely. But if we're going to have, as I mentioned earlier on, if we're going to have a set way that we're going to play and line up for pretty much every game, then we need to have that strength in depth first, plus players who can then change it around, rather than having to change it around, even if the way things are going well. Yep. You have to suddenly start playing a different way, because you haven't got the players to carry on playing the way you're playing, if that makes sense. So,
I'll get you. I'll get where you're coming from, mate. I understand.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think we all seem pretty much agreed on that. It does seem a Benrahma for an excellent player. There's no doubt about that. It just seems a very strange one. I mean, let's not knock it. It's good to see West Ham buying players of that ilk and that quality, players that have been sought by a lot of clubs. But I guess just in our situation and the financial strife we find ourselves in at the moment, it's an odd one to make at this juncture. But anyway, we hope to see the best from Saeed in the coming weeks and months, and it certainly looks like David Moyes is going to take his time before introducing him to the team. I just wonder with that actually, Gnome, because Moyes said on Friday that he didn't bring Benrahma in because he didn't know the way West Ham play. He needs to learn about our tactical approach, etc. But he didn't have quite the same concerns with Kufal, did he? Now I accept that was a little bit more of an urgent situation because Fredericks was injured, but we still had Ben Johnson who could have played there. So I wonder if he's been a little bit disingenuous there, perhaps.
Yeah. Well, to quote Blackadder though, with Kufal, was it needs must when the devil vomits in your kettle, wasn't it? And with Fredericks injured, Johnson perhaps being a little bit too wet behind the ears from And again, remember, the manager sees these players training every day.
Yep.
So you know, it was kind of another, the necessity was the mother there. But and again, Kufal was a little bit more of an established player at the top level of whatever league he was playing. Okay, Czech Premier League or whatever isn't a patch on what we've got, but it's, you know, he's an international as well.
Yeah.
Okay, Barama is as well, but Barama, I think, has got an air of a little bit more. From what I've seen of him, and again, I'm not been a sort of avid watcher of Brentford, but the impression I get, and anybody knows him better than I do, is that he's a little bit rawer, if you like, and needs a little bit more of an introduction than Kufal perhaps would need into the Premier setup.
Okay, good stuff. Well, we're going to wrap up very shortly, gentlemen. It's been a good debate, another good post-match debate between the three of us here today. It's been another really good day, isn't it, for West Ham United? Another tough game, another tough fixture. Manchester City, not champions last year, but always on the threshold, always challenging all the way. One of the best teams in the country, one of the best teams in the world. Let's be honest. And West Ham led against them for 51 minutes today before being pegged back, but Manchester City couldn't find a way through in the end, and it's a very valuable point for West Ham. We spoke earlier about the fact that West Ham have taken 8 points from the last 4 games. Rio, looking back now at this little period, the last month, those 4 fixtures from which we've somehow remained unbeaten. If you had to pick your best result or the best performance out of the Wolves, Leicester, Tottenham and Man City games, what would you go for? Putting you on the spot there, buddy, I know, but
each one of them have got their merits.
Yeah.
And even the Arsenal game, which we lost.
Yeah, of course.
Very unluckily, in my opinion. You can take the positives out of that as well. I'd actually go for the Leicester game.
Okay.
Because Leicester at the time were, I think they still are in the top 6, weren't they?
Well, they were unbeaten, weren't they, at the time?
Yeah.
They won every game.
They're a side under Rodgers who's kind of reinvent themselves from, I know they won the title a couple of years back, but you got to say that was rather through the failings of other teams rather than their own abilities.
Yeah.
And they plummeted a little bit, but under Rodgers they reinvented themselves a little bit, and they've turned into an incredibly efficient, promising side.
Yeah.
And we went up there and made them look mugs, to be honest, in more ways than one.
I guess also that, although we took a lot of belief and encouragement from the Wolves win, to go to Leicester, which is a ground where we haven't had a lot of luck in recent years, and given the way they've been playing, to go there. And that was a real shock. I mean, it was kind of, that was the weekend, was it not, that Villa beat Liverpool 7-2 and I think Spurs beat Manchester United 6-1. So our win up there went a little bit under the radar, didn't it? But in terms of West Ham, I agree. I think out of all the games, I think that one, you know, we got a bit of belief. Newcastle was dreadful. Well, actually saying that, I thought the first half of Newcastle, we were a little bit unlucky. We hit the bar and post, I think, in that game, and we were awful in the second half. But Arsenal, as you say, you're absolutely right. We played well there. We were very unlucky to go down there. Wolves was a fantastic game. But I agree. I think that Leicester game gave us the confidence to go on and go to White Hart Lane, the Tottenham Stadium, and eke out a draw, and to go out there today and perform better against Man City than we have done for many, many years. So I'm with you on that.
I don't think, what it is, I mean, the Wolves game, you can say, we've bounced back. We've got a win under our belts.
Yeah.
But how many times do we do that, then follow it up with an abject performance, which...
Absolutely. Exactly.
We built on what was a great performance. We went away to the top 4, top 6 sides and made them look silly. And this is a top 6 side who've got a wealth of talent. I mean, Jamie Vardy, I don't like him as a person, but as a footballer, he's been on a thorn in the side of the Premiership for 3 or 4 seasons now.
Yeah.
They've got a wealth of attacking midfield talent. They've got a very solid back line, you know. Brendan Rodgers, again, very much like Moyes, has got them really well drilled. And they should have finished in the top 4 last year. They missed an absolute chance and a half there, Leicester.
Yeah.
But we went up there and we made an absolute statement. And it was a consummate professional performance by us. Something that you don't often see from West Ham side going that way to a top side.
Yeah, I totally agree. Let's we're going to come actually, Raoul, if you want to line up a few comments from the match, we'll dip into the KUMB Forum one more time before we go. But before we do that, let's see what Gnome thinks. Gnome, do you kind of agree with what Rio and I are saying there, that out of those 4, the Leicester game was perhaps the pick of the games, or did one other stand out for you?
No, Leicester was by far and away the best all-round 90-minute performance.
Okay.
That we had. Wolves was good, but to go to Leicester away on the back of them having beaten Manchester City 5-2. Remember they'll have been on a high.
It's a really good point, actually.
And so that was a superb all-round performance, and I think it was the one that Wolves set us up. And I really wish we hadn't had the international break, because I think the Spurs game had been a better 90 minutes for us had we gone straight on the back of the Leicester game. The international break, as we had ad nauseum, did us no favours at all.
Absolutely.
Which ended up us dropping 2 points in the toilet bowl there. But there's a swagger, there's a confidence even against Manchester City, and you're going to be up against it. There's something there that is good. It may be fragile, and you don't want to. What's happened in the past is we've got a Man United and won 1-0 and then got turned over by Bournemouth or somebody, and that's not happened this season so far.
No, it hasn't. Have we played the same team in all 4 of those games?
Did we not start off?
Fredericks played with the Wolves game, didn't he?
Fredericks played in the Wolves game. Now, when did Diop test positive for COVID?
I think Balbuena played the Leicester game as well. He didn't play Wolves, did he?
Okay, so a couple of changes.
I think it's the last 3 games we kept the same side.
Okay, the point I was sort of going to make there, and obviously it's not quite as valid as it would have been if we'd have started the same 11 in every 4 games, but you sort of go back to 85, 86 when we had a very, very settled team, and when Liverpool won I'm going back a long time now, but I think it was the late 70s when Liverpool won the old First Division, having used just 14 players in the whole season. Incredible run of lack of injuries and players establishing themselves in the team and staying there. You need that, don't you? And this is something that we've always had a problem with, Gnome, isn't it? For years and years and years, going back, we've always had bad injury problems at the club. But this year, so far, and touching wood again, I have a wooden desk here underneath me. We've largely managed to avoid that. It's been the odd one, but it's worked in our favour, hasn't it?
Yeah, but it's why we're all sitting on tenterhooks, because history has proven in the past to us that we're only a few days away.
You used the word fragile a few moments ago, and I think that was absolutely spot on. That's exactly what it is right now.
I had to get a Yes album title in there somewhere, but no, it's a good team. But as I said before, the catchphrase is, it's a good team, but it's not a great squad.
Yeah.
We lack depth in order to play that particular way. If anybody's injured in that first 11, bar 1 or 2 positions, we've got to change the way we play.
Yeah.
Whether we like it or not.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's the worry. But hey, let's not end on that sort of note, because that team has gone out and played its socks off today. They've worked their socks off.
Here. A massive credit to the manager as well, I think.
Yeah, indeed. They've worked their socks off in a manner that at times it's almost been sort of anathema to West Ham, see people doing that donkey work. And people actually sort of, they're now beginning to realise that, if you do that hard work, it gives you the right to sort of play a bit further up the pitch, and you can sort of, it's not a case of just, sort of being, how I'm putting this here, sort of attractive and skillful up front. You've got to earn that right.
Yeah.
And the players are buying into that. You can just tell by, I don't might say rolling their sleeves up, but because they kept playing short sleeves these days, but
rolling their imaginary sleeves up.
You can just see. I mean, as I say, that one time where the run from Souček, run from Aguero, where Souček didn't get, there was no anger at telling Souček what had gone on, but it was pointing out, stay switched on. It wasn't people shouting there. It just pointed out, and he acknowledged it. So and that run didn't happen again. Not on Souček's watch. But good hard-working performance. Good. So I'm happy with that. So I'm not going to end on a down note.
No reason to. I mean, we should be, to coin a phrase, we should be over the moon. This is a West Ham that none of us have really seen, I'd say, before. I mean, we've all seen a few West Ham games over the years, but it's difficult to remember a West Ham side that's as resolute and determined as this one has been over the course of the last month. And as we say, it's sort of, it is a very fragile team, and one or two injuries and we're in big trouble. But let's just hope we can stay there. Someone who's also very impressed is Martin Keown, who has been speaking positively and eulogising, in fact, about Michail Antonio today. Martin Keown, speaking after the final whistle today, said, "I've not seen a player who's been able to improve their levels as much as Michail. He typifies the work rate they want in that team. He's played as a fullback, as a midfielder, and as a centre forward. He's chasing everything. He's a real handful. He's good quality. He's got good technique, and he's scoring goals." West Ham, sorry, my page has just scrolled down. West Ham need to get him back. He went off injured, and if he's not fit, that is a big blow to West Ham. So I think for once I'm going to agree with Martin Keown, and that doesn't happen very often. But anyway, before we do go, I'll come to you very quickly for your final summaries in just a moment, chaps. But we're going to take one more dip into the KUMB Forum and look at the match thread. And I'm assuming, Rio, I'm hoping anyway, was rather satisfied with the job done by our team today.
Very much so. There's a little bit of a discussion around our substitutions, contributions. But on the whole, everyone's absolutely delighted. Hammer 1975 was put. It's a sign of the improvement that it's the first time watching us play Man City for some time. Where I feel a very tiny bit disappointed not to get all 3 points.
Wow.
Feel that with a bit of luck or better officials, that could have been the outcome. Interesting that Moyes tried Bowen up front and central. Wonder if he wants to try that and play 4 nails of Ben Rama in the midfield and also Rice and Souček. Yarmo was trying too hard and nothing was going for him. Was Hader actually fit? Wholesome Hammer. Another excellent performance and a very good point. We never expected 8 points by the end of October when the fixtures come out. Hader offers nothing and doesn't work hard enough. Antonio's injury isn't as bad as we really miss him. Career Hammer. A great performance and a big point. It was a bit back to the wall in the second half, but well earned. I think Moyes has done a great job on a work ethic, shape and defensive strength of the side, but I still don't think he's quite the personnel or the balance he wants. Okay. The subs were comparatively static and ineffective today. Without the key players in our spine, we'll struggle to keep up this form. But on the whole, hats off to the lads today. Another positive performance. The captain was my man in the match. It's just a couple more to come here.
Okay.
Smuts commented on the performance of our referee today, Anthony Taylor. Anthony Taylor was a joke of a ref. Always gives us barely anything. Blatant yellow for pulling back, yet he happily dished out the cards against us. Balbuena got the ball for his one. Antonio was fouled for a penalty as well. Up the other end, VAR would have been all over that. One final one from Gary P. Actually, there's 2 more to come. Gary P has put 3 times Masuaku gave the ball away in dangerous positions, and they should have done better with it. One stage when he ended up in his arse and it wasn't a foul, Moyes was screaming at him to get on with it and get back. I thought Rice, Souček, 4 nails, Bowen were brilliant. and Kufau Ogbonna not far behind them. Antonio ran around a lot, but nothing much came off for him. But he was a real pain in the arse of the Man City defence, and that goal was outstanding. But perhaps my favourite comment of the day comes from Longshot, who commented on Manchester City's erstwhile England international Raheem Sterling. He's put, Sterling runs a lot like John Inman in a Benny Hill sketch, but with less end product. I think that's my favourite comment of the day, so
well, what a great one to end on. Longshot's been responsible for one or two of those, hasn't he, over the weeks? I seem to remember his name cropping up. So, probably my favourite forum poster at the moment, especially in the Main Streets. But thank you, Rio, for keeping an eye on the match thread for us today and bringing us the thoughts of all the KUMB members. Thank you also to everyone who took time to post on the live chat on YouTube and let us know what you felt with the game. And of course, also thank you all for joining us today. Before we go, I'm just going to go around the table for everyone's final thoughts. Rio, I'll start with you as no in particular reason at all, actually, but I'm going to come to you first.
Because you want to. Yeah.
Because I want to and because I can. There you go.
Lack of options, that's why.
Yes. West Ham United 1, Manchester City 1, West Ham in the top half of the Premier League, 8 points from 6 games. Your final summary.
With the last 4 games, we've been incredible. You know, we've put in an absolute shift on half. We've picked up results against teams that, before the start of the season, everyone wrote us off against. Today, against a team that has routinely annihilated us at home for the last 5 years, we've come away and, okay, maybe a win might have been a bit too much to hope for and expect, but the performance was there. We've troubled them in a way that we haven't troubled them for 5 years. The seeds of encouragement, the seeds of optimism have been sown by David Moyes. I never, ever thought I'd say that. When he came in, he was a cheap and miserable option. Nobody wanted him. But look at the effect he's had on us. We're now well drilled as a unit. We attack with verve. We defend doggedly. That's all I want from West Ham side. Work rate, a little bit of craft up front. Real joy to watch at times. And today was a well-earned, valiant point against a team who's probably been the best side in the Premier League for the last 5 or 6 years.
Excellent stuff. Thank you, Rio, and thank you for joining us and sharing your words of wisdom with us throughout the afternoon. Gnome, over to you for your final thoughts, my friend. West Ham United 1, Manchester City 1.
Something I said earlier on, and something that when you were going through the forum review, if you like, was that there's the tiniest bit of regret there that we didn't get all 3 points. And yeah, we had our backs against the wall for a lot of the second half, but I can actually genuinely see that. And it's summary up. I've said this already today, but it's a measure of how far we've come since we last played them. Is that even sort of lightheartedly in a slightly jokey manner that we're saying we've dropped 2 points, that's still not that an outlandish thing to say. Credit to Mr. Moyes, he's got them playing in the way that he wants them. We've got a system that works. Now just back him up, and let's go up to the Northwest and similar performance. I said earlier on today, whatever the result, I wanted us to see Man City work their socks off for whatever they got, and boy, did they have to work. They had to work for that point. And we made them, and I want that to happen next week. Keep it up, but well played. I'm very happy with both the performance and the result. So, what more can you say?
We have, thank you, Gnome. We have a happy panel. We have a happy YouTube chat. We have a happy KUMB Forum match thread. It's almost unheard of, this, isn't it? But I've got very little else to add to.
I want to go back to bed. I'd like to get up in the morning.
I know. I'm starving. I'm going to go and get something to eat in a minute. Actually, these lunchtime kickoffs are a nightmare. They play havoc with the food routine. But I've got very little to add to what Rio and Gnome have already said. I mean, it was a great performance. We worked hard. We stuck. We had a game plan. We stuck at it. The determination, effort that perhaps has been missing under past managers over the years was there today. They're well drilled. And also, I mean, we gave credit to David Moyes, but I'd also like to give credit to his coaching team as well. Irvine and Nolan, etc. Because it's been a real team job, and it's not just down to Moyes, although obviously he's leading the charge to make us the team that we're becoming. And so credit to everyone down at Rush Green for the work they're doing there. And it's fantastic to see. We said that, and Gnome pointed out there that we, is slightly disappointed in some ways that we didn't win that game. And, you sort of look at that again, you referred to Anthony Taylor and some of his decisions. I've not seen that again since we saw it live at the time, but I would like to have another look at that penalty decision that wasn't given, because I still feel, having looked at it twice during the game, that it should have been a penalty. And of course,
VAR rushed their review on that. They saw a touch on the ball, thought
Okay.
that would do, and they just didn't stop to consider that the touch on the ball might have come after the actual contact on the player. They rushed it.
Yeah.
Let's face it, VAR, it's the same idiots on the pitches off it, and you're expecting them to cover for their own mates. Ain't gonna happen.
Yeah, and it's kind of frustrating, I guess, when you think back to that game. I can't remember which game it was now, where they took 3 minutes. Was it Liverpool last season, where they took 3 minutes to come to a decision, or was it Arsenal perhaps? But anyway, that's, I guess you're going to get that as a West Ham. But the point being, of course, that we've held Manchester City, a very, very decent, £1 billion team, as Rio mentioned earlier in the stream. We've held them. All right, we might not have gone at them hell for leather, but we've matched them today, and that is credit to our coaching team. And the players, of course, themselves have worked so diligently and really put in an astonishing amount of effort today. So I'm with the guys. No complaints. I'm a happy hammer. And we go to Liverpool next week, and who knows? You never know. I mean, one win there since 1963, only 4 years ago. But as I keep repeating, I don't want to come over all Spursy and start predicting, West Ham to go to Anfield and win. But who's to say we can't go up there? But even if we do go up there and get beat, I think if we see the kind of performance we've seen today and in the last 3 or 4 weeks from our team, we're going to be very, very happy indeed. So yeah, top half of the table, great performance, held Man City. What more could you ask, really? Great stuff, and long may it continue. And on that note, thank you to everyone for joining us on the stream. If you haven't already subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do so, and you'll be notified when we go live in future. Get over onto the KUMB Forum and join in with the post-match discussion on there if you're looking for something to do for the rest of the afternoon. Bearing in mind that we're usually still watching the first half, actually, in games at this time. But anyway, thank you for your company. As always, thank you for your support of KUMB.com, and we shall see you all again very, very soon. Until then, come on, you Irons.